Mario franchise has always featured bosses, whether it be Donkey Kong, Bowser, or whatever the hell this is. This video is going to go over every single one of them. I'm including all the same games I counted for my Mario Enemies video, but in addition to that, I am also counting the Super Smash Bros. Series. This is like a 3-hour video, so let's hop right into it. Oops, sorry, I gotta hop in one more second here. If you're a video editor and you think you could edit these kind of videos and you're a big fan of video games, send me an email as I'm looking to hire an editor for this channel. Just like my Mario Enemies video, I'm going to be breaking this down into categories. And the first category is, well, pretty simple, it's Bowser's. And obviously to kick off the Bowser category is Bowser. He's the quintessential Mario boss. In fact, Bowser has appeared as a boss more than any other character in the series, having appeared in over 40 games as one. His first appearance was in Super Mario Bros., where he served as the final boss of the game. The only ways to beat him were to hit him with fireballs or to jump over him, hitting the axe and knocking him into lava. Some of his most iconic boss fights are the one I just mentioned, the one from Super Mario 64, where you must grab him by the tail and spin him and throw him into bombs, and Mario would scream, "So long, gay Bowser!" which everyone misheard as, "So long, gay Bowser." And his fight in Super Mario Bros. 3, where if you don't have a power-up, you must lure him into breaking the ground so he falls through the bottom. But my favorite Bowser fights are his more obscure ones, like in Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix, where you literally have to beat him in a dance-off. Or how about the fight with him in Mario Pinball, where Mario is a pinball that you have to hit into Bowser to knock him around on the map. I could probably spend another hour just talking about Bowser fights, but we have to move on as this is about every boss, not just Bowser. And next we have Fake Bowser, who's actually seen before you see real Bowser in the original Super Mario Bros. In each of the first 7 worlds of Super Mario Bros., if you defeat the Bowser at the end of the level with a Fire Flower, they will be revealed to be a standard enemy in disguise. Each world is a different enemy, and these are the 7 enemies used in the original game. Fake Bowser returns in Yoshi's Topsy Turvy, where he is a cardboard Bowser that is controlled by the spirit who loves surprise. Yep, that is an actual character from this game. The most recent appearance for Fake Bowser is in the mobile game Super Mario Run. Very similar to Fake Bowser is Fake Tail Bowser. This appears to be Bowser with the Super Leaf power-up, but it's not. It's actually an enemy in disguise. It is seen twice throughout Super Mario 3D Land, and when you push the switch to destroy the bridge that he is on, he will fall into the lava, revealing either a Goomba powered up by a Super Leaf or a Magic Koopa powered up by a Super Leaf. Weirdly, Fake Bowser is also in Mario and Sonic at the Sochi 2014 Winter Olympic Games. It is a boss that chases you in the figure skating spectacular. Alright, our next Bowser is, well, just Bowser. Well, Bowser with 3 question marks after his name. This is a poorly crafted machine created and piloted by the Koopa Bros, a boss we will get to later on this list. Overall, Bowser with 3 question marks is a pretty weak boss and fairly easy to defeat. Giant Bowser. Giant Bowser is simply Bowser, but bigger. And though it feels like Bowser has been able to make himself big in all Mario games ever, we actually first see Giant Bowser in Paper Mario, which released in 2000. What is considered a Giant Bowser differs a lot. Sometimes Bowser is like double his size, and sometimes he's the size of a skyscraper. One of the most well-known Giant Bowser fights is in Super Mario Sunshine, where he serves as the final boss of the game, where he's in a giant bath that Mario just comes and destroys. Mario, sometimes you're a jerk. Giga Bowser. Giga Bowser is very similar to Giant Bowser, but he has his own distinct look. This version of the character is only seen in the Super Smash Bros. Series. He first appeared in Super Smash Bros. Melee as a boss in Adventure Mode, where he was fought on Final Destination. Starting in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, the game that introduced Final Smashes, Giga Bowser became the final smash of Bowser. In Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Giga Bowser is still Bowser's final smash, but he also appears as the end boss for Mario and Captain Falcon in Classic Mode. I mean, being Mario's end boss makes sense, but why is he Captain Falcon's end boss? Paper Bowser. Now, this one's a bit confusing. Paper Bowser is the paper version of regular Bowser, but if you play any Paper Mario game, you will know that they just call him Bowser. But in Mario & Luigi Paper Jam, we have Bowser and Paper Bowser around at the same time, making Paper Bowser distinctively different in this case. Him and regular Bowser are faced off in a battle, but they're invincible in this battle. After a couple turns, they will become the next boss, Shiny Robo Bowser. This is the true final boss of Mario & Luigi Paper Jam. He has many attacks like punching, spitting fire, and the classic Mario attack, jumping. I will say that the name Shiny Robo Bowser is a bit of a misnomer, as he isn't actually a robot at all, but rather regular Bowser with Shiny Paper Bowser as armor. Sticking to Paper Bowser, we have Paper Craft Bowser, yet another boss from Mario & Luigi Paper Jam. The heroes use Paper Craft Fire Mario to fight him. Like normal Bowser, Paper Craft Bowser can spit fire to attack. Black Bowser. Black Bowser is Bowser possessed by black paint in Paper Mario Color Splash. During the fight, Bowser will summon black lava bubbles to help help him in battle. As Bowser is dealt damage throughout the fight, the paint will slowly be drained off of him. In the second phase of the fight, he will grow even bigger and stronger, becoming Big Black Bowser, who deals more damage and has more health. Mega Dragon Bowser. Mega Dragon Bowser is an enhanced form of Bowser that serves as the final boss in Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. The fight is a long one, being fought in 3 phases. Mega Dragon Bowser's main way of attacking is by spitting fireballs, either by raining them down from above or just shooting them. Fury Bowser. Fury Bowser is a kaiju-sized Bowser that is corrupted by black goo. Not the black paint from earlier, no, that's completely different. To fight him, Mario must get the Giga Bell to become Giga Cat Mario, which is basically Giant Cat Super Saiyan Mario. In this form, like most Bowser forms, Bowser attacks by breathing fire. He can also retreat into his shell and jump into the air, trying to land spikes down on Mario. Dry Bowser. Dry Bowser is an undead form of Bowser that is only a skeleton and is a recurring boss throughout the Mario series. His first appearance was in the original New Super Mario Bros. In that appearance, that fight is extremely similar to the original Bowser from Super Mario Bros., where you must jump over him and hit a switch to drop him into the lava. Overall, he appears as a boss in 9 different Mario titles. Baby Bowser. Baby Bowser is a recurring boss in the Yoshi series of games. He is shown to be an extremely spoiled child who is taken care of by Kamek. He made his first appearance as a character in the original Yoshi's Island game, where he serves as the penultimate boss, with Mega Baby Bowser, who we'll talk about in a minute, being the true final boss. A trend with many Baby Bowser fights is that you will fight him normal sized at first, and then he will get bigger and you will fight him again. The only game where Baby Bowser is a boss that isn't a Yoshi game is Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, once in a solo boss fight and once while teaming up with his older self. Mega Baby Bowser. Alright, this is who we were just talking about. This is Baby Bowser, but big. He is always the second phase of the Baby Bowser fights. His most iconic appearance is his original appearance in Yoshi's Island, where he is in the background and Yoshi must throw giant eggs from the foreground at him to hurt him. This exact same style of fight was brought back for Yoshi's new island as well. The Great King Bowser. The Great King Bowser is a robot boss piloted by Baby Bowser in Yoshi's Crafted World. To start the battle, his hands are both cars that he will put down the level and try and run over Yoshi with. He can also attack by launching rocket Shy Guys at Yoshi. Yoshi can eat the Shy Guys off the rockets in order to make eggs. Meowser. Meowser is Bowser with the bell power-up, making him a cat. The boss fight with Meowser is less of a fight and more of a long auto-scrolling section in which Bowser will climb up next to you and try and hit you. While climbing, he will also break platforms and make it harder to climb up. Bowser X. Bowser X is a pretty simple enemy. He is simply Bowser, but stronger. We see Bowser X in 2 games, Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story and Mario & Luigi Dream Team. In both of these games, he is a boss during the boss gauntlet, Mecha Bowser. Mecha Bowser's name explains him perfectly. He is a robot version of Bowser. This character first appears as a boss in Super Mario Sunshine. In this fight, you must ride on a roller coaster and shoot rockets using FLUDD to damage Mecha Bowser. Like with most Bowser and Bowser variants, Mecha Bowser attacks by spitting fire. The thing he does that is unusual for a Bowser is he also shoots bullet bills. Dreamy Bowser. Dreamy Bowser is the final boss of Mario & Luigi Dream Team. In this battle, he will summon many dreamy forms of regular enemies to help him, such as Goombas, Bob-ombs, and Shy Guys. Like many other Bowsers, he can spit fire, but this time the fire is rainbow, which just looks badass. Boletta. Boletta is a combination of Crackletta and Bowser. Crackletta is a boss we will get to later on this list. This is a boss in Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. The Mario & Luigi series is actually known for being mostly QuickTime events for the combat. A QuickTime event is hitting a button at the right time to either dodge an attack or land an attack, and that is pretty much how the combat goes in this game. So that's how you fight Boletta. Another boss from Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga is Rookie. He is a boss fought 2 times in the game, and he is fought alongside Popple, yet another boss we will see later on this list. If you haven't guessed by looking at him, Rookie is actually Bowser, but he has amnesia and can't remember who he is. Shrowzer. Shrowzer is the combination of the Elder Princess Shroob and Bowser. In this fight, Mario and Luigi are not given a chance to attack. Instead, they can only hurt Bowser by deflecting his attacks back at him. Dark Bowser. Dark Bowser is a boss in Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story that is fought by Bowser. Importantly, this is not actually Bowser, but a form the Dark Star takes, mimicking Bowser. Dark Mess Bowser. Dark Mess Bowser is yet again not actually Bowser, but a copy of Bowser created by Cursa, the main antagonist of Mario and Rabbids' Spark of Hope. In the battle, Dark Mess Bowser acts exactly like normal Bowser, with his main main attack being using a Bowzooka, which is obviously a Bowser bazooka. Bocian. Bocian is the combination of Bowser and the ancient magical tennis racket, Lucian. That's right, Lucian is an ancient magical tennis racket with mind control powers. This is the final boss of Mario Tennis Aces. And no, you don't just face him in tennis. It's actually a boss fight where they shoot projectiles, all of which are round and can be hit back by a tennis racket. Extremely lucky for Mario that he has a tennis racket. Castle Bowser. Castle Bowser is a version of Bowser created from Bowser touching a Wonder Flower. It is the combination of Bowser, Prince Florian's castle, and a Koopa clown car. This serves as the final boss in Super Mario Wonder. This fight is music themed and requires Mario to jump to the beat to get enough height to hit Castle Bowser. A character that's not technically Bowser, but pretty much is Bowser's brother. Bowser's brother is a palette swap of Bowser in Super Mario Bros. The Lost Level. He has a blue shell instead of a green shell. Instead of showing up at the end of the level, he instead shows up in the middle of the level, where he can simply be walked past or defeated with fireballs. Since the release of the Lost Levels in 1986, we have not seen Bowser's brother again, which is quite sad because this is definitely a character I'd love to see return. Okay, that's the last Bowser enemy, so let's move on to our next category, Koopas. And first is a Bowser Jr., who isn't actually Bowser. Bowser Jr. is a son of Bowser, and one of the most used bosses in all of Mario. He's actually the second most used boss of all time, only behind his father. His first appearance ever was in Super Mario Sunshine. In most games where we see Bowser Jr. as a boss, he is either the main antagonist or a secondary antagonist. Most Bowser Jr. fights follow a very simple formula. Jump on his head 3 times and he is defeated. Usually after you jump on his head, he will retreat into his shell and be invulnerable for a short period of time. Actually, 3 hits to kill a boss is very common in Mario games. So common in fact that I have a little counter for every single one that requires 3 hits to kill. Paper Bowser Jr. Much like Paper Bowser Jr. is only seen in Mario & Luigi Paper Jam. In its boss fight, he is fought alongside the regular Bowser Jr. Paper Craft Bowser Jr. Paper Craft Bowser Jr. is fought by Paper Craft Princess Peach. In the battle, Paper Craft Princess Peach uses her parasol to knock over Bowser Jr. and then be launched on top of him. Mecha Jr. Mecha Jr. is a Bowser Jr. robot that wields a giant hammer with a cow head. His main attack is charging at heroes and trying to hit them with his cow hammer. I mean, obviously, if you have a cow hammer, you're gonna use it. Alright, let's move on to 7 bosses we can talk about together. The Koopalings. Larry Koopa, Wendy-O Koopa, Roy Koopa, Lemmy Koopa, Ludwig von Koopa, Morton Koopa, and Iggy Koopa. All 7 of these Koopalings were introduced in Super Mario Bros. 3. Each Koopaling has appeared in either 13 or 12 games as a boss. Much like Bowser Jr., each usually takes 3 hits to defeat, with them retreating into their shell after each hit. Larry Koopa is the most basic of the Koopalings, and he's actually the youngest. Usually he serves as the first boss, as he is the simplest to defeat. Wendy-O Koopa is the only female of the Koopalings. She is always seen with her iconic bow, and has a unique attack of shooting rings that bounce off of walls and ceilings. Roy Koopa is always seen wearing sunglasses, and is one of the bigger Koopalings. Usually when he jumps on the ground, it will stun Mario. Lemmy is perhaps the most unique of the Koopalings, with him usually balancing on top of a ball and attacking by launching balls that don't actually hurt Mario, but will knock him back. Ludwig's signature ability is his floaty jumps. He can jump into the air, kick his feet to stay in the air even longer. Usually when he shoots magic, it will fork into 3 magical bolts. Morton, like Roy, is another one of the larger Koopas. His main attack is jumping into the air and then ground pounding, usually letting out fire that goes along the ground when he does so. Iggy has the least predictable movement of all of the Koopalings, and has the ability to jump higher than all of his siblings. Next, we have Koopa Troopa. That's right, just simply a basic Koopa. These are some of the most basic Mario enemies out there, but only in 2 games does a basic Koopa Troopa serve as a boss. Yoshi Safari, a light gun game for the Nintendo, featured Koopa Troopers that controlled a giant turtle submarine that fires cannons. In Mario Kart Tour, they are simply a boss race, so you race them. Koopa Bros. We actually just talked about the Koopa Bros a little bit ago, as they are the ones who made Bowser. The group is a parody of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and each is individually named after their color. In their boss fight, they have a special attack where they stack on top of each other and then spin, doing massive damage. Luckily, this move takes a turn to charge, allowing Mario and his partners to knock over the Koopa Bros before they can get off this attack. They actually serve as the boss in the first chapter in Paper Mario. Notwing the Koopa. Notwing the Koopa is a red-shelled Koopa made large by Kamek in Yoshi's Woolly World. He has fought 3 times throughout the game and actually has unique fights each time. His weak spot is on his belly, so Yoshi must stun him and then ground pound on his belly to hurt him. In each of Notwing the Koopa's fights, he takes 3 hits to defeat. Junior Koopa. Junior Koopa is a recurring boss in Paper Mario that serves as a rival throughout the game. He is a young Koopa who has yet to leave his shell. He has fought 6 different times throughout the game and has different powers each fight. Hammer Bros. Hammer Bros, much like Koopa Troopas, are very common Mario enemies. The first game where they were featured as a boss was in Yoshi's Safari, the light gun game that also features the Koopa Troopa boss. As you suspect, its main attack is throwing hammers. Much like Bowser, the Hammer Bros also serve as a boss in Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix, meaning you have to have a dance off with Hammer Bros. Ice Bro. The Ice Bro is a variation of the Hammer Bro that throws ice balls instead of hammers. The only game where these serve as a boss is Mario Kart Tour. This is the Mario Kart mobile game, and they are a boss race. Army Hammer Bro. Army Hammer Bro is a mini boss fought right before Bowser in the game Super Princess Peach. He is said not to be much stronger than a normal Hammer Bro, only throwing slightly bigger hammers, though he does take 5 hits to defeat. Leet Hammer Bros. The Leet Hammer Bros are a pair of Hammer brothers that talk in Leet speak. And if you don't know what Leet speak is, believe me, you're better off not knowing. Sludge Bros. Sludge Bros are larger Hammer Bros that throw larger hammers. They are first seen as a boss in Yoshi's Safari, and later return as a boss in Mario Party 10 in the Mega Sludge Bros Card Chaos minigame, which is literally a memory game. Boomerang Bros. Boomerang Bros first appeared in Super Mario Bros. 3, and actually serve as a boss at the end of one of the tank levels. They also serve as the boss in the treasure ships, but those are rarely seen in Super Mario Bros. 3. They also return as a boss in Yoshi's Safari, throwing boomerangs that boomerang back to them. Egyptian Koopa. Egyptian Koopa is a boss in Super Mario Pinball Land. All boss fights in this game are pretty similar. Mario's a pinball, you flip him around the board, you hit things, the boss is defeated. Tootin Koopa, who is obviously much different than Egyptian Koopa. This is the boss of Chapter 2 in Paper Mario. Throughout the fight, Tootin Koopa will call in Chomps to aid him in battle. After he's defeated, his pet Chomp will chase him away. Spiked Koopa. Spiked Koopa is the first boss in the original Wario Land game. His weakness is his underbelly that must be hit 3 times so he can be defeated. Hookbill the Koopa. Hookbill the Koopa is an oversized red-shelled Koopa. To defeat him, you must wait for him to stand on his hind legs, and then hit him with eggs and knock him onto his back, then ground pound his belly. It takes 3 total hits to defeat this boss. Kent-C Koopa. Kent-C Koopa is an optional boss in Paper Mario. Kent blocks the way to Pleasant Path and demands 100 coin toll to pass. Mario can either pay, not pay, or fight Kent-C Koopa. Kent is actually a fairly strong boss, having 10 attack and 6 defense. The key to beating Kent-C Koopa is hitting him on his tail, which is his weakness and has no defense. Big Buzzy Beetle. This is simply a big Buzzy Beetle and an optional boss in Paper Mario Sticker Star. Like most bosses in the game, you just need the right sticker to defeat him. Similar to Big Buzzy Beetle is Big Mistake Buzzy Beetle. This is a boss Paper Macho Buzzy Beetle that is made up of cut-up enemies. In the fight, it is discovered that the source of the Buzzy Beetle's power is Kamek. So in order to defeat the Buzzy Beetle, Mario must first remove Kamek from its mouth. Big Spiny. Big Spiny serves as a mini-boss in one game, Paper Mario Color Splash. Overall, he's a pretty basic Mario RPG boss. Big Magic Koopa. A normal-sized Magic Koopa never really serves as a boss. Instead, oversized Magic Koopas are used in a couple games as a boss. Yoshi's Safari and Mario Sports Superstar. In Yoshi's Safari, obviously you use the light gun to shoot the Big Magic Koopa, and in Mario Sports Superstar, you fight him in what is essentially the classic game of Breakout, with the Magic Koopa summoning Shy Guys, Goombas, and Bonsai Bills to damage the paddles. Kamek. Kamek made his original debut all the way back in the Super Nintendo in the original Yoshi's Island. Though Yoshi's Island released in 1995, Kamek would have to wait 11 years for the release of Mario & Luigi Partners in Time in order to become an actual boss. Since then, he has been featured as a boss 8 different times. His most interesting fight overall has to be in Yoshi's Crafted World, where he has fought in 4 different phases. The first is a harder version of the Tin Can Condor boss, which we will talk about later. The second is a harder version of the Gator Train boss, yet another boss we will get to later. And the third is a harder version of the Great King Bowser fight. The final phase of the fight, you use Go-Go Yoshi to chase him down and defeat him. Kamek is another boss I absolutely love and that I wish that Nintendo would do more with. Paper Kamek. Just like Paper Bowser and Paper Bowser Jr., Paper Kamek is only seen in Mario & Luigi Paper Jam. He has fought twice in this game, first alongside a Wiggler, and second alongside normal Kamek. Giant Kamek. Giant Kamek is a boss only seen in Super Princess Peach. Much like a standard Magic Koopa, he shoots magic, but he also has the ability to fly in the air. Papercraft Kamek. Papercraft Kamek is just like Papercraft Bowser and Papercraft Bowser Jr., though this one is fought by Papercraft Luigi. Papercraft Luigi actually wields a hammer that he never uses, instead opting to just jump on top of Kamek to do damage. I honestly don't know why he brought the hammer to the fight. Kammy Koopa. Kammy Koopa is an elderly magic Koopa and Bowser's second in command in Paper Mario and Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. In the original Paper Mario, she plays a large role in the story, but only shows up as a scripted boss fight for Twink. In the Thousand Year Door, she has fought alongside Bowser in the Palace of Shadows. She has many abilities like restoring health, increasing attack or defense, electrifying, or going invisible. Kamella. Kamella is a green lipstick wearing magic Koopa that serves as the boss in Super Mario Galaxy 1. She has 3 total boss fights in the game, and attacks by either shooting green or red magic. The red magic is fire, and the green magic is a shell that can be caught by Mario and thrown back to damage her. It takes 3 shells to defeat her. Wizza-Koopa. Wizza-Koopa is a magic Koopa only seen in Super Mario RPG. He is hypnotized by Smithy and has a red cloak while under Smithy's control. During the boss fight, Wizza-Koopa can attack by either using magic or summoning minions like Bahamut, King Bomb, or Jinx clone. Big Spike. A large Spike appears as the boss in Mario Party 9. In the fight, Spike will roll Spike Balls, as Spike does, and the players must compete to get hammers. Big Stone Spike. Big Stone Spike is another boss from Mario Sports Superstars. Like the giant magic Koopa fight in this game, this is just the game of Breakout. Tubba Blubba. Tubba Blubba is a boss in Paper Mario, and is actually invincible until you defeat his heart, which is separate from his body and will run to him for protection. Once the heart and Tubba Blubba are reunited, they are actually extremely weak, with Tubba only having 10 health. Macho Grubba. Macho Grubba is Grubba powered up by the Crystal Star. He is the final boss of Chapter 3 in the Thousand Year Door. Tolstar. Tolstar is yet another Spike boss, this one from Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. He is the large Spike that acts like a bully and a con man. In the original game, when you defeat him, he will drop a 1-up mushroom, but in the remake, when you defeat him, he will drop Cosmic Pants. Spike, better known as Lackluster, is a boss in Paper Mario. He is originally working for Huff and Puff. After you defeat him, his girlfriend, Lackalulu, will ask Mario to spare him, and Spike will then ask to join his party. Lakitu. Lakitu is another very common Mario enemy, showing up in the original Super Mario Bros. They are only ever used as a boss in Mario spin-offs, like Yoshi Safari, Tetris Attack, and Mario Party 9. Lackathunder. Lackathunder is another Lakitu boss, this one being from New Super Mario Bros. He rides in the black cloud and wears black goggles, or they be called sun goggles, as they're supposed to be sunglasses, but they're also goggles. He has 3 attacks: sending down lightning, throwing spinies, and swooping down. When he swoops down, this is Mario's chance to jump on him. 3 hits defeats him. King Lakitu. King Lakitu is another Lakitu boss, this one from Super Mario Galaxy 2. His main attack, like most Lakitus, is throwing spiny eggs. To defeat him, Mario must use Yoshi to eat the eggs and spin him back at King Lakitu. 3 hits defeats him. Chargin' Chuck. Chucks are football cosplaying Koopas. A single Chuck only serves the boss in one game, Yoshi Safari, where you shoot him with the light gun. Chargin' Chuck Corp. This is a large group of 12 Charging Chucks that serves as the mini-boss in Mario & Luigi Paper Jam. Overall, they are a fairly simple Mario RPG boss. Boom Boom. Boom Boom was first introduced in Super Mario Bros. 3, and has become a recurring boss in the Mario franchise. In Super Mario Bros. 3, Boom Boom was actually faced at the end of 15 different levels, which is kind of absurd. After Super Mario Bros. 3, Boom Boom would actually disappear for 23 years, and then would return in Super Mario 3D Land as a reoccurring boss like in Super Mario Bros. 3. Almost every single Boom Boom takes 3 hits to kill. Pom Pom. Pom Pom is the female counterpart to Boom Boom and first appeared in Super Mario 3D Land. Her abilities in battle include making clones of herself and throwing shurikens. She can also disappear using smoke. Much like Boom Boom, she takes 3 hits to defeat. Cat Boom Boom and Cat Pom Pom. Cat Boom Boom and Cat Pom Pom act exactly like regular Boom Boom and regular Pom Pom, but they're furry and have cat ears. They're only seen in Bowser's Fury. Boss Sumo Bro. Boss Sumo Bro is a boss seen in New Super Mario Bros. U and Paper Mario the Origami King. To hurt him, Mario must first knock him over by hitting the platform he's standing on, and then jump on him. 3 hits will defeat him. Dry Bones. Dry Bones is yet another very common Mario enemy, but they only serve as a boss in 2 games. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games, and Mario and Sonic at the London Games. In the Winter Games, he has faced off in curling, and in the London Games, he has faced off in table tennis. Giant Dry Bones. Giant Dry Bones is only faced as the boss in Mario Party games, serving as a boss in 3 different ones: Mario Party DS, Mario Party 9, and Mario Party Star Rush. Dark Bones. Dark Bones is a mini-boss in Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. It is fought 2 times total throughout the game. It acts exactly like a normal Dry Bones enemy, the only difference being that it has much higher health at 20. Red Bones. Red Bones is very similar to Dark Bones and is also a boss in Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. He is fought alongside 4 Dole Bones. Red Bones either has the ability to summon more Dole Bones or to attack by throwing bones. Mega Mecha Koopa. Mega Mecha Koopa is an extra large Mecha Koopa. Now, no standard Mecha Koopa ever serves as the boss, but this large one does in Mario Party 10 in the minigame Mega Mecha Koopas Swing and Stomp. In the game, players swing back and forth on chains and jump on its head to hurt it. Moving from one common enemy to another, we have Goomba bosses now. And first up is Red and Blue Goomba. These are a pair of Goombas fought together as a mini boss in Paper Mario. They both act exactly the same other than their color and the fact that the red one has 1 more HP. After the defeat, these two return as a helper of the next boss, Goombas. Goombas, originally known as the Goomba King, is a boss seen in 3 different Mario games. His first appearance is in Paper Mario as the prologue boss. His next appearance is in the Super Mario 64 remake for the DS, where he must be defeated in order to unlock Mario. And his final appearance, not only as a boss but as a character, is in Mario Kart DS, where you must race him around the Baby Park track. And once he is defeated, he literally explodes. Presumably, this explosion killed him. Mega Goomba. Mega Goomba is a normal-sized Goomba that grows to be extremely large. In the fight, he is too tall for Mario to jump on his head, so Mario must hit a switch in order to make platforms to get high enough to ground pound him. 3 hits defeats him. Big Goomba. Big Goomba is very similar to Mega Goomba. It's an oversized Goomba. These are only seen as bosses in 2 games, Mario Party 10 and Mario Party Star Rush. Mega Sparkle Goomba. Mega Sparkle Goomba is a large Goomba boss only seen in Paper Mario Stick Your Star. It is made up of 16 regular-sized Goombas. Papercraft Mega Crinkle Goomba. Like all the other Papercraft enemies, this is a boss in Mario & Luigi Paper Jam. This is the very first of the Papercraft bosses, so it is fought by Papercraft Mario. Giant Goomba. Giant Goomba is a big Goomba covered in dark mess in Mario & Rabbids Spark of Hope. This character attacks by charging and will break cover when he does so. Elite Trio. The Elite Trio is a group made up of 3 bosses: Private Goomp, Corporal Paraplonk, and Sergeant Guy. Goomp is a Goomba dressed in pajamas. Paraplonk is a red-shelled paratrooper who has green shoes, which is extremely unusual because Koopa's shells usually match their shoes. Oh, and he has a bucket on his head. Sergeant Guy is a green shy guy with a backpack full of things like a magic wand and a cannon. These 3 characters are seen multiple times throughout the Mario & Luigi series, but are only fought in Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. Elite Trio X. The same guys, but stronger. Goomba Tower. Goomba Tower is a stack of Goombas. Normally this is just a standard enemy, but they serve as a boss in Mario Party Island Tour. They are fought in the minigame and must be defeated by throwing apples at them. You know, the classic Mario attack. Alright, let's move on to the next category. And these little guys aren't usually enemies, but in this case, they're bosses. These are Toads. Now, the very basic Toad is seen in a lot of Mario games, dating all the way back to the original Super Mario Bros., where that annoying little guy tells you the princess is in another castle. The only time a normal Toad serves as a boss is in Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games, where you must face down a team of 4 of these little guys in a relay race. Toadette. Toadette is the female counterpart to Toad. She made her first appearance in Mario Kart Double Dash as Toad's partner. In most games she is just an NPC, but also she is sometimes a playable character like in Mario Maker 2. The only time she serves as a boss is very similar to Toad, but this time it's in Mario and Sonic at the Tokyo 2020 games. And she is faced off in hurdles. The Master. The Master is an extremely challenging optional boss found in the Toad Town Dojo in Paper Mario. He can be fought 3 separate times, getting progressively harder each fight. In the final fight, he has maxed out HP stat of 99 and 10 attack. Toad's Worth. Toad's Worth is often displayed as Peach's second in command, but in one game he serves as a boss, and that is Yakuman DS, which is a Japanese exclusive Mahjong game featuring the Mario characters. He is the highest ranked character and the hardest to play against. Now you might disagree that he's not a boss at all, and if you do, please leave a comment so I can just say I'm right and you're wrong. Prince Mush. Prince Mush is an optional boss in Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door remake. He is one of only 2 new boss fights that are in the remake but not the original. He is the original champ of the Glitz Pit and extremely strong. He is the only fight in the entire game that requires super guards in order to beat him, because if he is not super guarded, he will block all damage until he is super guarded. Alright, let's move on from Toads and go to a category I'm not really sure what to call, so I'll just call it main characters, I guess. And first off, we have Wario. Wario is one of Mario's main foils. But being one of Mario's main foils, he's actually only considered a boss 4 different times. The first game where we see him as a boss is Super Mario Land 2, which was also his debut game. He would next appear as a boss in Wario's Woods, which is a relatively unknown puzzle game where you play as Toad. But as always, my favorite boss fights all come from Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix, where you have to have a dance-off with Wario. This game is truly the peak of all Mario gaming. Fake Wario. A fake Wario appears in Wario's Woods as the 7th boss overall. As this is a puzzle game, he's just a little harder to beat than the 6th boss. Vampire Wario. Vampire Wario first appeared as a form of Wario in Wario Land 3, but this was more of a power-up than anything else. Vampire Wario then returned in Dr. Mario 64, where he is a boss and unlockable character. Vampire Wario has the best AI in the entire game, alongside Metal Mario and Rudy. Waluigi. Waluigi is a bit of a meme in the Mario community. He first appeared in Mario Tennis as Wario's partner in doubles. Since this day, players have been wishing to see him in Super Smash Bros., but that's probably never gonna happen. Now there's only one game where Waluigi serves as the boss, and it's my favorite one, Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix, where obviously you face him in a dance-off. Bowser's Memory ML. Bowser Memory ML is a boss only fought in Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. He is Bowser's memory of Mario & Luigi. Bowser's Memory MLX. Same guys, but stronger. They are fought in the boss gauntlet of the game. Mr. L. Mr. L is a character who is shrouded in mystery. Late in the game, it is shockingly revealed that Mr. L is actually Luigi. He's only fought 1 time by himself, and 2 times later in the game in robot form, which we will get to later. Shadow. Shadow is a boss in the flopside pit of 100 trials in Super Paper Mario. In the fight, it will create clones of each party member for you to fight. The clones are of Luigi, Bowser, Peach, and Mario. Each has 100 health and the abilities of the character they copied. Mario. Mario is actually the 2nd boss ever to appear in any Mario title, being the antagonist of Donkey Kong Jr., where he kidnaps Donkey Kong and puts him in a cage. And then, Mario tries to murder Donkey Kong's son, who is trying to save him. Seriously, Mario is a huge jerk in this game. Robo Mario. Robo Mario is a boss only seen in Mario Kart Grand Prix 1 and 2, which are arcade versions of Mario Kart. He is a challenging boss race made to make players spend more quarters. In the race, you get absolutely no power-ups, while the boss has unlimited power-ups. Shadow Mario. Shadow Mario is a doppelganger of Mario in Super Mario Sunshine. He is later revealed to be Bowser Jr. in disguise. Though Shadow Mario doesn't play a large role in the story of the game, he is actually a rather simple boss. Mario must simply chase him and spray him with FLUDD in order to get the princess back. Metal Mario. Metal Mario is simply Mario with the metal cap. He actually appears as a boss quite a few times. The first game where we see him as a boss is in the original Super Smash Bros. For the N64. He appears on the penultimate level in 1-player mode. He's also a boss in Super Smash Bros. Melee and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The other 2 games where we see him as a boss are in Dr. Mario 64, where he is a hidden character, and Mario Kart Tour, the Mario Kart mobile game. Dreamy Mario. Dreamy Mario is a clone of Mario in Mario & Luigi Dream Team. In the fight, Dreamy Mario will make a ton of clones of himself and mix around to try and make the player lose track of him. Rosalina. Rosalina is a character that first appeared in Super Mario Galaxy. In this game, she was an NPC. She has later returned as a playable character in many Mario games, but she is only a boss in 2, and both of them are Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. In Rio, she is faced in rhythmic gymnastics, and in Tokyo, she is faced in surfing. Next, we have a rather small category, and it is Kongs. Leading off the Kongs, we have Donkey Kong, who I've broken into 2 versions. The original Donkey Kong, which is actually Cranky Kong, and the new Donkey Kong, who we'll get to in a second. The 2 main games that Cranky Kong is known for being a boss in are the original Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong 3. In the original Donkey Kong, he stands on top of the stage, rolling barrels down with Pauline captive. In Donkey Kong 3, he's being a jerk to some kid and letting bugs into his greenhouse. It's honestly very strange. Switching from Donkey Kong to Donkey Kong, this is the one we know and love today, and he mostly serves the boss in the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series. This is a series of games meant to be reminiscent of the old Donkey Kong arcade games. In the original, you have to fight him by throwing barrels at him. In the sequels, there's a whole slew of different boss fights, from having to shoot minis out of a cannon at Donkey Kong, to having to get minis to certain locations to knock stuff on top of Donkey Kong. On top of this, he is also a boss race in Mario Kart Tour. Giant Donkey Kong. Giant Donkey Kong actually appears as the boss 5 different times. The first time was in Donkey Kong for the Game Boy, where he's a boss on stage 99, and Mario must attack him by throwing barrels at him. The other 4 times he serves the boss are in Super Smash Bros. Games, where you must fight to knock him off the stage. Diddy Kong. Diddy Kong, alongside Donkey Kong, are a tag team boss race in Mario Kart Wii. In this race, the Kongs will get bananas in every single box, and you will get a green shell. Diddy Kong is also a boss in a few of the Olympic Games. In Rio 2016 and Tokyo 2020, he has faced off in rugby. Giant Diddy Kong. Giant Diddy Kong is a boss in the subspace emissary mode of Super Smash Bros. Brawl. He must be defeated by the team of Fox, Falco, and Diddy Kong. Funky Kong. Funky Kong, who is the coolest of the Kongs, is only faced off as a boss once in Mario Kart Tour, where obviously he's a boss race. Alright, let's move on to a hefty category now. We got robots. And leading off the robots, we have Robot. Robot is a robot head of Luigi piloted by Mr. L. He has fought in a space battle that is reminiscent of an old school side-scrolling shoot-'em-up game. This boss battle actually has power-ups very similar to games from this genre. Robot returns later in the game in an upgraded form, known as Robot L-Type. This fight takes place in an empty room, and the robot can attack by shooting its hands, trying to suck in Mario with its vacuum, or floating up slightly. The most dangerous are moves. The best way to damage this boss is by using bombs. Robo Brood. Robo Brood is a boss in Super Mario Odyssey that is piloted by all 4 Broodals. The enemy attacks by shooting bombs and Pokeos at Mario. In the fight, Mario must knock the bombs into the legs of the Broodal in order to knock it down and hurt him. Mad Bomber. Mad Bomber is the final boss of the strange game Wario Blast featuring Bomberman. It is a large tank with a Bomberman-like head. The boss attacks by shooting homing missiles and by shooting crystals. Guruin Knight. This is a boss from the same game as Mad Bomber. It is the top half of a suit of armor that attacks by swinging his sword. It will often throw its sword to attack, which is when it is vulnerable. Hot Roderick. Hot Roderick is a boss from Wario Land Shake It. In the boss battle, he drives a car in front of Wario. During the fight, Hot Roderick will throw wrenches to try and hurt Wario. The Blade. The Blade is a fight that immediately follows the Axum Ranger fight, a fight we'll talk about in a little bit, in Super Mario RPG. During the fight, the Blade only has one attack. It is an extremely strong beam that takes several turns to charge. Alright, these next 2 I'm just going to put together. The Mad Hat Mach 1, Mad Hat Mach 2, and Mad Hat Mach 3. These are all bosses from Wario Master of the Skies that are piloted by Count Cannoli, a secondary antagonist from the game. Each fight is different from the last, but they all have one thing in common. All 3 of them take 3 hits to kill. Bowyer. Bowyer is the second major boss in Super Mario RPG. He is a strange looking bow creature that can shoot arrows. His main mechanic during the fight is disabling one of the buttons on your controller. And depending on which one is disabled, you will not be able to either attack, use special moves, or use items. In the remake, as a final gambit, he will disable all 3 buttons, which forces the player to use the new team-up ability to defeat Bowyer. Mecha Wiggler. Mecha Wiggler is a boss seen in New Donk City in Super Mario Odyssey. In order to damage Mecha Wiggler, Mario must capture an enemy Sherman and fire at it. Once defeated, Mario will gain access to the full stage of New Donk City, and the rain will stop. Tank and Operator. Tank and Operator are the 3rd boss in Virtual Boy Wario Land. As this is a Virtual Boy game, it tries to take advantage of the 3D aspect, with the enemy and Wario having to jump between the background and foreground. It takes 3 total hits to defeat this boss. Barfatronic Lava Chomper. This is one of the weirdest named bosses in any Mario game. It is a robot seen in Wario Master of the Skies. This boss is really weird and quite frankly something else. The boss will shoot red liquid from its nose, which will fill up the room and then slowly drain. Then Wario must punch a bomb into its eye, and then he must draw a poop on a toilet that came out of its mouth in order to hit the uvula to do damage. Seriously? What is this boss? Mecha Curry. Mecha Curry is the robot version of the Giant Spearman. This robot is controlled by Captain Syrup in the second part of her boss fight. During the boss fight, the robot will run out of batteries and need to be charged. After 4 total hits, you can pick up the robot and throw it at Captain Syrup to end the battle. Chortlebot. Chortlebot is a robot clown head in Wario Land Shake It. In the fight, Wario must use poles on the side to spin and do acrobatic jumps, you know, like Wario is known for. After doing these jumps, he can land on Chortlebot's head in order to damage it. The Chortlebot can attack by using its spiky red nose or spawning balls to protect the top of its head. Growbot. Growbot is a robot boss in Mario & Luigi Dream Team. It attacks by shooting water balls out of its cannons on its arms. It's a very basic Mario RPG boss. Similar to that is Growbot X, which is the stronger version. Magnus von Grapple. This is a machine built by Lord Crump in Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. This serves as the boss for Chapter 2 in the game. Magnus has many attacks including Stomping, Earthquake, and deattaching his fist. Magnus von Grapple 2.0. This is the upgraded version of Lord Crump's robot. As it is seen much later in the game, it is much stronger. He has plenty of new upgrades, including a brand new drill attack where he flies in the air and then drills down on Mario and his partner, a flying disc that he throws at them, and the ability to vacuum up the crowd and launch them at Mario to attack. Robo Drill Digger. This is the first giant boss fought by Giant Luigi in Mario & Luigi Dream Team. He can attack by spinning to create a tornado, shooting his drills, or shooting an electric ball. There's also Robo Drill Digger X, who is the stronger version. Torque Drift. Torque Drift is a UFO-looking robot from Super Mario Odyssey. He is fought in the Wooded Kingdom. Torque Drift's main attacks are laser beams and laser pulses. To hurt him, Mario must capture an uproot and use it to jump over the laser pulses, and then extend the uproot's legs, ramming the head of the uproot into the glass dome. It takes 3 hits to defeat this boss. Gallium. Gallium is a boss fought in the Subspace Emissary mode of Super Smash Bros. Brawl. He's actually a unique character to the game. This large robot has many attacks including stomping, jumping, and turning into a vehicle to quickly move across the screen. It has a health bar that must be depleted in order to defeat it. Duan. Duan is very similar to Gallium, in that it is a giant mech boss only seen in Super Smash Bros. Brawl during the Subspace Emissary. This mech, however, has 2 sides. One which is a blade and has blade-based attacks, and the other that is a gun and shoots to attack. Throughout the fight, it'll change which side is facing the player and will attack differently. Smithy. Smithy is the main antagonist and final boss in Super Mario RPG. In the final boss fight with him, it is fought in 2 phases. The first one sees Smithy using his smelter in order to create enemies in battle. In his second phase, it gets a little more complex, with him changing forms throughout the fight and having different weaknesses each time he changes. The 4 different forms he can take are the Tank Head, the Magic Head, the Casket Head, and the Treasure Head, which all attack very differently and all take damage very differently. Pyalodium. Pyalodium is a robot boss in Mario & Luigi Dream Team. It is the guardian of the Pyalo Temple. During its battle, it will summon mini Pyaloids as backup. It also has the ability to transform into things such as a hammer and a jet. There's also a stronger version known as Pyalodium X. Undergrunt Gunner Water Bazooka and Undergrunt Gunner Electric Bazooka. Both these are bosses in Super Mario Galaxy, with the water one shooting water attacks and the electric one shooting electric attacks. Both are damaged by getting on top of them and ground pounding them. Both take 3 hits to defeat. Porky. Porky is a character originally from the Mother or Earthbound series. He is fought in Super Smash Bros. Brawl in the Subspace Emissary mode. In the fight, he is piloting a giant spider mech, Rotatatron. This is a boss originally from the Sonic Colors game, everyone's favorite Sonic game. In Mario vs. Sonic at the Olympics, he is faced off in figure skating. King Watinga. King Watinga is an oversized robot fly that serves as a boss for the Nat Attack minigame in Mario Paint. He has the ability to spawn fly children and shoot missiles, and is defeated by hitting them with a fly swatter. King Kathunk. I mean, you really have to look at him in order to understand what he is. He will flip around the stage trying to hit Mario, and Mario must wait for him to land face down, and then jump on his back to hurt him. This is yet another boss defeated by 3 hits. Mega Leg. Mega Leg is a huge robot boss found in Super Mario Galaxy. The side of the fight is mostly platforming, with Mario having to go around the robot in order to get to its head. Once Mario's on top, he must guide bullet bills to the glass dome in order to release the Power Star. Dig-a-Leg. Dig-a-Leg is a much smaller version of the Mega Leg. This fight takes place on a wheel-shaped planet. He will attack by shooting the enemy Digga through the planet at Mario. To hurt him, Mario must wait for his dome to be facing the ground, and then use the drill to drill through the planet and hit him in the head. 3 hits and he's done. Boomer. Boomer is a boss in Super Mario RPG that has a samurai feel. Though I'm not positive he's a robot, I put him here because he doesn't show any skin or anything, so let's just call him a robot. He has 2 forms, red and blue. The red is weak to magic, while the blue is weak to physical attacks. After his defeat, Boomer has an extremely somber death, which is immediately followed by a dance party by Mario and his team. Omega. Omega is a robot from the Sonic series of games. As one would suspect, the only Mario game he has seen in is Mario and Sonic at the Olympics, where he is faced off as a boss in events like the 100-meter sprint, the 100-meter relay race, and roller coaster bobsled, which I don't think is a real event. Countdown and Ring-a-Ding. Countdown is a clock, and Ring-a-Ding are the bells on the clock. This is the first boss fought inside of the weapon world in Super Mario RPG. The 2 Ring-a-Dings and Countdown must all be defeated in order to win the fight. Spiridovich. Spiridovich is an enemy based on a spear in Super Mario RPG, and honestly he's one of the most forgettable bosses in the whole game in my opinion. His most notable ability is being able to create a clone of himself. Tap Tap the Red Nose. Tap Tap the Red Nose is the giant Tap Tap boss in Yoshi's Island. Much like a regular Tap Tap, eggs do not defeat him, but will rather knock him back. In his boss fight, the floor is made of breakable tiles. Yoshi must use his eggs to bounce off the tiles to create a hole in the floor, and then hit Tap Tap the Red with eggs to knock him into the lava. Junker. Junker is a trash robot boss in Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. Though simply called Junker, it is referred to as Super Ultra Great Mega Trashy Monster Junker Bot by by mid-boss. During the fight, Junker will have Junker cans on the field behind him. During the fight, he can attack by emptying the Junker cans, which can have bombs, skutlets, cheap teeps, or wads of paper that do nothing inside of them. Mega Hammer. Mega Hammer is a robot piloted by Bowser Jr. in Super Mario Galaxy 2. The boss either attacks by using its hammer or shooting bullet bills. To damage the boss, Mario must eat the bullet bills with Yoshi and then spit them back at the weak points of the boss. Mr. Geary. Mr. Geary is a mini-boss in Yoshi's Crafted World. As he has a gear, his main attack is rolling, but also because of the gear, there are gaps in between his teeth that Yoshi can stand in to be safe. To hurt him, Yoshi must throw eggs at the tape on his face. It takes 3 total hits to defeat this boss. UFO. UFO is a giant robot fought in Princess Peach Showtime. Peach must take her Mighty Peach form in order to grow big enough to fight this boss. The fact that this form makes her larger and stronger is most likely a reference to Ultraman, who is a pop culture icon in Japan. Alright, that is the end of robots. So let's head to a new category, which I have deemed humanoids. Now, some of these humanoids are actually humans, some are fairies, and some are species I don't know. But overall, they mostly have arms, legs, a head, and a basic human shape. First up, we have Demento. Demento is the true main antagonist of Super Paper Mario. He's a boss that has fought 2 times in his standard form throughout the game. His first fight comes in Chapter 3, while his second fight comes in the 8th and final chapter of the game. Following this fight and a fight with Count Black, a boss we'll get to in a bit, there's actually another fight with Demento, but this time he is in his Super Demento form. Super Demento is a combination of Luigi, Demento, and the Chaos Heart. Super Demento attacks by shooting projectiles, extending its head at Mario, or locking on and trying to drop directly on Mario's head. He can be hurt by any of Mario's attacks and Bowser's fire. Mean MC. Mean MC is a boss in Wario World. Like most bosses in this game, it requires Wario running up to him and punching him. After you have punched him enough, he will hide under a large cup. While he hides under the cup, there's 2 identical cups that will all mix up trying to hide him. You must find him to damage him. Galrog. Galrog is the second boss in the NES version of Wario's Woods. He's a very simple boss in the game and actually asks you to go easy on him. Jinx. Jinx is an optional boss that runs the dojo in Monstro Town. He can be faced 3 separate times, with each fight being harder than the last. If you beat him a 3rd time, he will make Mario the master of the dojo and start a Mario-based training regimen that is just jumping. Captain Syrup. Captain Syrup is a recurring character in the Wario series of games, but she has only truly fought as a boss in Wario Land 2. In her only true boss appearance, she rides in the giant Dr. Robotnik type machine above Wario. Wario must catch the enemy and bombs that she throws down in order to hurt her. Didar. Didar is the 15th boss in the SNES Wario Woods. She has a green elf and red clothing. Witch. Witch is a boss from Super Mario Land 2. Her boss arena has 3 cauldrons in it. The witch will shoot fire to attack, which will light the cauldrons. Once a cauldron is lit, the cap of it will fly up. This is how Mario can get high enough to jump on the witch's head and do damage. 3 jumps defeats the boss. Booster. Booster is one of the strangest bosses in Super Mario RPG, and perhaps the whole Mario franchise. He has large bug eyes, a wide grin, and a red nose. Though he is a boss, he is actually an optional boss in the game, as he can be completely avoided by playing the Sniff It curtain game, where Mario must avoid detection by hiding behind the curtains. Jojora and Jojora's friend. Jojora is a boss in Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. Before the fight, you'll ask which one of her 4 friends the Mario Bros want to have tea with. When you pick, that friend comes through the ceiling and fights alongside Jojora. No matter which of the 4 names you choose for the friends, the stats and appearance of the friend will always be the same. The only thing that changes is their name. Jojora actually has the highest possible defense in the game with 999, making her almost impossible to defeat, though she can technically be defeated. The friend is the only one that needs to be defeated to win the fight. Winter Winster. Winter Winster is a boss only seen in Wario World. He is a large-headed creature with a very tiny body. The only real unique mechanic in this boss fight is that he drops stones that Wario must pick up and throw into a lava pit to make a geyser and knock him out of the air. Other than that, like every other boss in the game, you just punch him. Taboo. Taboo is the final boss of the Subspace Emissary mode in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Taboo has the most health of any enemy in the game with a health bar. He also has 14 different unique attacks, making it extremely hard to figure out his attack pattern. Mimi. Mimi is a boss fought 3 times throughout Super Paper Mario. She has the ability to disguise herself as other characters. Multiple times throughout the game, she disguises herself as Merly, but she is also seen disguised as King Samur as well. Throughout the game, Mimi is almost always wearing different clothing, making her one of the most stylish Mario characters ever. During 2 of her fights, she will take her very creepy spider form and attack using rupee-shaped crystals. Crystal King. Crystal King is the boss that guards the final Star Spear in Paper Mario. He can summon crystal bits to help him in battle and has the ability to clone himself. Tatanga. Tatanga is a purple alien who serves as the boss in both Super Mario Land and Super Mario Land 2. In Super Mario Land 1, he serves as the main antagonist and the final boss, Gus. Gus is an optional boss in Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. He blocks the path to East Rogueport early in the game and demands 10 coins for Mario to pass. Mario can pay and Gus will let him by, but Mario can also fight him to get by. Gus is actually fairly strong for an early game boss, having 20 HP and 3 attack. Rudy. Rudy, originally known as the Hidden Figure, is a large clown and the final boss of Wario Land 3. After Wario brings him back to life, he immediately tries to kill Wario, which isn't very cool. In the fight, Rudy attacks with his large hands in an attempt to hurt Wario, but Wario can jump on his hands to stun the hands, then throw them at his face to hurt him. This boss takes 4 hits to defeat. Hey, that's actually a little different. Caesar. Caesar is yet another boss from Wario Woods. As this is a puzzle game, the only thing I can really say about him is he's a little skeleton guy. Oh Chunks. Oh Chunks is a boss that has fought many times throughout Super Paper Mario. He's actually the first boss in the game and is tied for the lowest HP among all bosses. Each fight with Oh Chunks is very similar. He will jump and try and ground pound on the player, but he does get new abilities each fight, such as picking up parts of the ground and throwing it to attack. The final fight against him must be fought with Bowser. It is mostly the same as the first fight with him, but he is bigger. Eggman. Eggman is the main antagonist of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, and as he is a character from the Sonic franchise, he is only seen in Mario vs. Sonic at the Olympic Games. From my research, all I can tell is he only serves as a boss in one of these games, and that is in the Tokyo 2020 games, where you must beat both him and Bowser in the 100-meter dash to beat the story mode. Retro Eggman. Retro Eggman is the retro version of Eggman, and also a boss in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, Tokyo 2020. In order to actually understand what this fight is with Retro Eggman, you have to understand that in the plot of this game, there is a magical video game council, which makes a lot of sense in a game based around the Olympics. In the fight, Mario is controlling Tails' plane, while Sonic is standing on the top of it like he usually does. In the fight, Sonic just kind of stands there and does nothing, while Mario does all the work flying around the plane and shooting at Eggman, who flies back and forth swinging a giant wrecking ball, which is a reference to the first ever boss fight against Eggman in the original Sonic the Hedgehog. Nega Eggman. Nega Eggman is Eggman, but Nega. He's a boss in a few of the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. He is faced off in ski cross, fencing, and karate. End Boss. End Boss is the strongest of the Samurai guys in the game. He is an optional boss found in Super Paper Mario. He has extremely high health at 99, 10 attack, and 4 defense. The spike on his head also protects him from jump attacks. Dracula. Now when you first came into this list, you gotta admit, you weren't expecting Dracula to be a Mario boss. And in fact, he's actually a Castlevania boss. But he does appear in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as well as a boss. Dracula's fight has 2 phases. First is him in his standard vampire form, and the second is him in a more demonic form with wings. Colix. Colix is an optional boss in Super Mario RPG. He is optional for a reason because he's the strongest boss in the entire game, and it's actually quite silly to beat. In battle, he has 4 crystals, the earth, fire, water, and wind ones, that must all be defeated before you can target the boss itself. In the remake of Super Mario RPG, there is actually Calyx 3D, who is a 3D version of this boss that is even harder. Calyx 3D actually has max HP for the game and can one-hit KO party members. Count Black. Count Black is who is perceived to be the main antagonist of Super Paper Mario, and is a boss in the game as well. During the boss fight, Count Black can be hit by any normal attack, including jumps. He has attacks like creating a black hole to pull in Mario and swooping at Mario. Legendary Hero. Legendary Hero is a boss from Mario Golf Super Rush. In this fight, all the boss's attacks are some variety of lightning attacks. To hurt him, you must wait for him to charge his giant electric ball attack, then throw it and swing your club to knock it back at him. 3 hits defeats this boss. Lord Crump. Lord Crump is the second in command of the X-Nauts and a boss throughout Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. Though sometimes he is inside of his robots, Magnus von Grapple, and Magnus von Grapple 2.0, who we already talked about, and sometimes he fights by himself, well, with a little help. The first time you meet Lord Crump, he is actually a tutorial battle to teach you how to do the basics of the game. In the second fight, he summons X-Nauts that will help him throughout the fight. Sir Grotus. So Grotus is actually the leader of the X-Nauts and the boss of Lord Crump. He's an endgame boss fought in the Palace of Shadows. He has lots of elemental attacks like Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, and Ice Beam, which are of course all Pokemon moves. In battle, he will summon Grotus X enemies, and once he has summoned 4 of them, they will create a force field around him to protect him. Mario and his partners can defeat the Grotus X's in order to get rid of the force field. Foster. Foster is an impish creature that is a boss in Wario Woods. Other than being a little imp, there's not much to say about him. Pooba the Pharaoh. Pooba the Pharaoh is a boss in Wario Wario Master of the Skies. The first thing that Pooba does in this fight is make the rest of his body disappear, leaving just his head. He will then shoot rocks out of his nose to attack Wario. As with most fights in Wario Master of the Skies, it requires Wario to use many of his forms in order to defeat him. Oh yeah, and another one of this guy's attacks is actually using his nose hairs. Seriously, Wario games are a fever dream. Carlton. That's right, there's a boss named Carlton. He is a night boss that likes math and is the 16th boss in the SNES Wario Woods. Captain Skull. Captain Skull is a boss in Wario World. He fires projectiles at Wario with his cannon arm. Like all the terrible bosses in this game, Wario has to punch him to defeat him. Sarissa. Sarissa is yet another boss from the SNES version of Wario Woods. She is a witch with a magic wand. Clerk. Clerk is the first of 3 bosses that are all palette swaps of each other. He is the weakest of the 3. He is accompanied by 2 Mad Mallets in battle. Manager. Manager is a slightly stronger version of Clerk and is accompanied by Pounders, which are stronger versions of Mad Mallets. And Director is the strongest of the 3, and he is accompanied by Poundettes, which are the strongest version of Mad Mallets. Factory Chief and Gun Yoke. Factory Chief ranks above Clerk, Manager, and Director and is a boss fought immediately after them. But he is not a palette swap like the other 3. He instead has a more ninja-like design. The Gun Yoke, his machine that he invented, will attack using the move Beam Breaker, which is a very high damaging move. Harley Q. Harley Q is a jester whose name is a play on Harlequin. He is the 3rd boss in the SNES version of Wario Woods. Tiramisu. Tiramisu is the final boss of Wario Master of the Skies. She is known as Tiara Mizu in her human form. This fight is fought in 3 phases, each of which where she uses the 3 different masks. As mentioned earlier, she requires a lot of Wario's transformations in order to be defeated. Punchinello. Punchinello is the 3rd major boss in Super Mario RPG and is found in the coal mines. During the fight, Punchinello will summon bigger and bigger Bob-ombs to aid him in his battle. Eventually, he is defeated when he tries to summon his biggest Bob-omb and it lands in his head. Carpaccio. Carpaccio is a strange boss fight in Wario Master of the Skies. Instead of a traditional fight, you instead must race him to a location. In the race, Wario must use all forms to get through the map and slow down Carpaccio. The Axum Rangers. The Axum Rangers are a group of 5 colorful Power Ranger-like characters. They are found in Super Mario RPG. There's a pink, black, yellow, green, and red one. The Rangers are all fought as a group, but each has its own stats and special abilities. The pink is the one that can heal the team and has the lowest HP and attack. The black one has extremely high speed and attacks multiple times in a turn. The yellow one is the bulkiest, having the highest physical attack and defense. The Green Ranger is weak physically, but is strong with magic. The red one is the most balanced of the group and has the most HP. Each Ranger actually corresponds to a member of the hero's party. Valentina. Valentina is another major boss in Super Mario RPG. But what Valentina is a total mystery to me. What species is this character? Is she a djinn? Is she a human? Is she a fairy? Is she something else? Honestly, she's so weird. She fights beside her right-hand man, Dodo, who is a boss we'll get to later. Katsuni. Katsuni is the very first boss in the SNES version of Wario Woods. He is actually very encouraging and actually hopes that Toad will beat him. Shake King. Shake King is the final boss of Wario Land Shake It. He is a boss fought in 3 phases. He mostly attacks by ground pounding and charging at Wario. In the fight, while he's stunned, Wario can actually pick him up and shake him to get a lot of money. In the 3rd phase of the fight, he will get magical powers and use them to summon energy beams to hurt Wario. Clown Around. Clown Around is another strange boss from the great game Wario World. The head that you see on top of this boss is not actually his head and will actually be knocked off throughout the fight so you can see his real face, which is much more horrifying. Like most bosses in this game, he requires being punched. Mad. Mad is the mermaid that serves as the boss in the NES version of Wario Woods. Aqualia. Aqualia is the mermaid boss in the SNES version of Wario Woods. Antasma. Antasma is a boss fought 2 times in Mario & Luigi Dream Team. She is the very first boss of the game, serving as a training boss actually, and she is also the second to last boss in the entire game. In her second fight, she will use Antamunchies to power herself up and also to attack. There is a harder version of this fight known as Antasma X, where the fight is pretty much the same. Genie. Genie is the final boss of the original Wario Land. He doesn't actually have a problem with Wario, but is actually obeying Captain Syrup, who is riding his shoulder. The Genie attacks by shooting fireballs from his hand at Wario. To hurt him, Wario must jump on his head. Thak. Thak is a blue ogre-like creature with blue skin who is the 11th boss in the SNES version of Wario's Woods. Sven. Sven is a man that is all beard and a Viking hat. He is the 5th boss in Wario's Woods. Knife Guy and Great Guy. These are a pair of clown bosses that balance on top of balls and serve as minions of the boss Booster. Knife Guy is the physical attacker, while Great Guy is the magical attacker. After a few turns in the fight, the two enemies will stack on top of each other for a tag team attack. King Ollie. King Ollie is the main antagonist of Paper Mario the Origami King. He is the final boss, fought in 3 phases. Stage 1 is a standard fight of the game, with Ollie taking the form of the Vellumentals to attack Mario. In the second phase, Ollie will transform into a bigger origami version of himself. Bowser will then become a large origami version of himself in order to fight him. They will push back and forth in what is essentially a sumo fight, while Mario helps Bowser. In the third phase, Ollie will grow even larger and smack Bowser off the edge of the stage, making Mario face him one-on-one again. To defeat this phase, Mario must quickly solve a puzzle while dodging Ollie's attacks. All of his attacks are quick time events and can be dodged by pushing a button at the right time. Once Mario solves the puzzle, Olivia becomes a giant hammer that Mario uses to crush Ollie and defeat him. Heavy Zest. Heavy Zest is the first of 4 disciples of Big Mastiff. In battle, he's surrounded by Hoorahs, Sarrowfist. Sarrowfist is the second of the disciples, and it's also accompanied by Hoorahs. But these Hoorahs will flee once you defeat Sarrowfist. Beef Cloud. Beef Cloud is the third of the disciples. He actually doesn't attack in battle at all. He will simply heal HP every 5 seconds. His HP heals are actually not turn-based, but time-based, meaning Mario must attack him quickly so he cannot heal all of his health back. Thunder Sass. Thunder Sass is the 4th and final disciple. This one is the fastest attacker of the group. Big Massive. Big Massive is the leader of the 4 disciples we just talked about. He is stronger than all of them, and also fights with Hoorahs by his side. His attacks include shoulder charging, throwing rocks, and rolling into a ball. When he rolls into a ball, the Hoorahs will actually volleyball him and then hit him at Mario. Big Massive X is actually a stronger version that is wearing blue instead of red. Ganon. Ganon is the main antagonist of the Legend of Zelda series. He serves the boss in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The boss fight is pretty simple, as all he does is swing his blades to attack in different ways. Zavok. Zavok is the main antagonist of Sonic Lost World. And as a Sonic character, he only shows up in Mario and Sonic at some Olympic Games. He is faced in boxing in both Rio 2016 and Tokyo 2020. Zaz. Zaz is another villain from Sonic Lost World, and is also in Rio 2016, where he is faced in ping pong. He is also faced in ping pong in Tokyo 2020. Cowboy. Cowboy is a boss in Princess Peach Showtime. He's the leader of a gang of robbers and is faced off by Cowboy Peach. In this fight, he shoots his oversized gun, which either shoots purple cannonballs or barrels. Peach must lasso them and then throw them at the cowboy to deal damage. Dark Sword Fighter. This is another boss from Princess Peach Showtime. This one is faced off by Sword Fighter Peach. In this fight, Peach must wait for her opening and then jump on his head to stun him. Then she can hit him with her sword. While we're at it, let's stick to Princess Peach, and now we have Sour Bunch Figure Skaters. This is a flamboyant figure skating member of the Sour Bunch. In the fight, he has brainwashed Steets that are skating with him. Peach must wait for him to get dizzy after doing a spin move. Then she can stun him and knock him on his butt and get the hypnotized Steets back. Kung Fu Master. Yet another Princess Peach Showtime boss. This is fought by Peach in her Kung Fu Peach form. In the fight, Peach must time her kicks to counter the Master's attacks. Once she counters enough, she can attack back. Dark Baker. This boss is faced off by Patissiere Peach in a baking contest. This fight is simply a race to see who can make the most cookies the fastest. At the end of the fight, Peach gives the Dark Baker one of her cookies, which turns him not evil, and then he just disappears. Grape, aka Madam Grape. This is the main antagonist of Princess Peach Showtime. In the boss battle with her, Peach takes her presumed strongest form, Radiant Peach, where she can float around and shoot projectiles. As soon as she is defeated, she will actually come back as Grape the Great, who is a larger and stronger version of her. Peach actually upgrades now to her most powerful form, Super Radiant Peach. This fight is very similar to the fight with Madam Grape, but everything's on a larger scale. That's all the humanoid characters. Now let's move on to the next category, Thwomps, Rocks, and Chomps, or a shorter version that can be put on top of the screen, Stones. The first one is Bowser Statue. Bowser statues are seen in many games, mostly as obstacles or decoration. The only game where Bowser Statue serves as a boss is in Mario Tennis Aces. In this fight, the Bowser Statue will shoot round projectiles that Mario can hit back with his tennis racket. Honestly, for all the bosses in Mario Tennis Aces, it's very fortunate that all of their projectiles are round. Mrs. Thwomp. Mrs. Thwomp is a boss from Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. She is very mad at the Mario Brothers for stopping the volcano from erupting, something her husband was very excited about. Once she takes a certain amount of damage in battle, she will shrink and bring in decoys. Mrs. Thwomp actually brings up a really important question in Mario lore. Are all female Thwomps round? Do we just not see female Thwomps very often? Shigeo Miyamoto, these are questions I need answers to. Womp King. Womp King is a boss originally seen in Super Mario 64. To defeat him, Mario must wait for him to fall on his face, trying to crush him, and then ground pound on his back. Womp King returns in Super Mario Galaxy and the Throwback Galaxy. The fight is very similar to the one in Super Mario 64, but he is much larger and his weak spot is much smaller. Also during the fight, he will summon a adorable wimps. Womp. A standard Womp that isn't King Womp serves as a boss in Mario Party 9 and Mario Tennis Aces. In Mario Tennis Aces, the Womp will simply stand there as Bullet Bills and Mecha Koopas attack Mario. Mario can knock the Bullet Bills and Mecha Koopas back at him to hurt him. Giant Squashette. Giant Squashette is a large version of the normal enemy Squashette. This is a rabbit that has a thwomp on her back. Bedrock. Bedrock is a rabbit made out of stone and a boss in Mario and Rabbids Spark of Hope. She has short movement and a short attack range, but makes up for it with heavy damage. Guard. Guard is a recurring boss in Virtual Boy Wario Land. He is a mini boss fought before each major boss fight. There are 4 total fights with Guard in the game, with each one being harder than the last. Each one's weakness is its underside. Bouldergeist. Bouldergeist is the boss in both Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. He is a ghost that covers himself in rocks. His main attack is throwing rocks at Mario. When the rocks hit the ground, bomb booms will come out of them, which Mario must spin to grab and hit him in the Bouldergeist to expose his true form. Once he is in his true form, he is a giant floating head with a giant red dangling uvula, which is his weak spot. Boss Brolder. Boss Brolder is an oversized version of the standard enemy, Brolder. He is found in Super Mario 3D Land. In the fight, he is accompanied by 3 regular-sized Brolders. As you would expect from a round rock, he attacks by rolling. To hurt him, Mario must pick up the regular-sized Brolders and then throw them at him. 3 hits and he's done. Irock. Irock is a pair of hands made out of stone with eyes on the palms. He only has 2 appearances, Super Mario 64 and Mario Kart DS. In Super Mario 64, you must punch or kick each eye 3 times to defeat the hands, and in Mario Kart DS, you must hit the eyes a total of 3 times with green shells to defeat them. The Stone Cold Statue. The Stone Cold Statue is a mini-boss in Wario World. Each layer has eyes, a mouth, a nose, and a green gem. Wario must destroy all the gems on it to defeat it. Goro. Sadly, this is not the Goro from Mortal Kombat, though that would be a pretty sick Mario boss. Instead, he is just a large stone enemy that serves as a boss in Wario Woods. Big Chain Chomp. Big Chain Chomp is a boss in 2 Mario Party games and Paper Mario Sticker Star. Though they are considered bosses in Sticker Star, they can't be hurt. Mario must hit their poles with his hammer while they sleep to release them and break parts of the stage. The Underchomp. The Underchomp is a 3-headed boss that is fought in Super Paper Mario. Unlike most bosses in the game, this one is fought with turn-based combat in a very similar style and look to Earthbound. An interesting fact about this boss is that it cannot be tattled, making it the only boss in the game that can't be tattled. Despite this, a tattle log for this boss does exist in the code for the game. Stone Chomp. Stone Chomp is a mini-boss in the Dry Ruins in Paper Mario. For a boss, this is extremely weak, having only 4 HP. Sphinx. Sphinx is a boss in Wario Master of the Skies, though it is not a traditional boss battle. Instead, you must answer 3 riddles. The Sphinx has many riddles, but most of them are very easy, as this is a children's game. Sea Pipe Statue. Sea Pipe Statue is a boss in Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. It is a statue that comes to life and attacks Bowser. It attacks by firing the stone blooper as a projectile. In the fight, Bowser can vacuum up the stone blooper for the brothers to fight inside of him. Iron Cider. Iron Cider is a boss in Wario World. Unlike most bosses in this game, it actually can't be punched. Instead, you must punch his minions to stun them and then throw them into Iron Cider to hurt him. Huhuras. Huhuras is a boss in Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. It is a statue that attacks by shooting purple lasers. It can also summon pillars that will attack with lasers as well. Huhuras will also hide inside of these pillars, forcing the brothers to destroy them to get him out. Hayoihoi. This is a giant Mohai enemy. He can be defeated in 2 ways, either being hit by 10 Super Balls, or by using his rock attacks to get over him and hitting the switch on the other side. Roll and Rattle. Roll and Rattle is a living statue and boss in Wario Land Shake It. This boss has 3 phases. For the first 2, Wario must shoulder charge him to hurt him. For the third, Wario must get on top and ground pound him in order to hurt him. The Iron Adonis Twins, originally known as the Iron Harriers, are a boss in Paper Mario The Thousand-Year Door. This is a mandatory fight in Chapter 3, and one of the only times in the game that the player is forced to lose. In order to defeat this fight, you must return to this fight once you have Yoshi on your team. This is because Yoshi's goat move is the only way to do damage to them. The Iron Adonis Twins will also re-challenge Mario to a fight later because they hold a grudge for the loss in the first fight. Porky Statue. Porky Statue is a character originally from Mother 3, and is a boss in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. But this is not a traditional boss fight. It is instead an auto-scoring level where you are chased by the statue. You control Lucas as you run away, and at the end of the stage, you are saved by Ness. Trunkle. Trunkle is a boss in Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. As a boss, he can be defeated in 2 ways. In the fight, Trunkle has the ability to break into 4 mini versions of himself, or stay a standard size. Overall, this is an extremely standard Mario RPG fight. Knuckle-O-Tech. Knuckle-O-Tech is a boss from Super Mario Odyssey. He is made up of a stone head and 2 stone hands. He attacks by using his stone hands and by summoning Chinchinos as well. Mario must take control of one of his his hands with Cappy, and then fly it back into his face. After doing this, it's required that the player says, "Why are you hitting yourself?" If you don't, the damage doesn't count. No more stones, on to Mammals, which is led off by Monty Mole. Monty Mole is a very common enemy in the Mario franchise, but only one time does it serve as a boss, and that is in Super Mario Sunshine as a cannon operator. As a cannon operator, it'll shoot goop, bullet bills, and throw bombs. To damage it, Mario must pick up the bombs and throw them back at him. It takes 3 total bombs to defeat this boss. Big Monty Mole. A Big Monty Mole is only seen as a boss in Mario Party games. It first appears in Mario Party 10 and reappears in Mario Party Star Rush. Big Montgomery. Big Montgomery is a Big Monty Mole that prefers going by his full name. He's only seen in Yoshi's Woolly World, but is fought 3 different times. Much like Notwing the Koopa, the mechanics for each of his fight are a bit different, which is really cool for a reused boss. In some fights he stands on a stack of Monty Moles, in others he has a helmet so he can't be jumped on, and sometimes he attacks by rolling snowballs. The single boss has a lot of variety in the game. 3 total ground pounds on his weak spot will defeat him each time. Major Burrows. Major Burrows is a boss only seen in Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. He's again a very big Monty Mole, but he must be in Bowser's military because he's a major. In the fight he will dig underground with only his helmet sticking out. Sometimes he will pop half of his body out of the ground, and this is when Mario can ground pound to get him out and hurt him. It takes 3 total hits to defeat him. Monty Tank. Monty Tank is a Monty Mole boss that drives a tank, obviously. The tank attacks by shooting bullet bills. Monty can be hurt when he pops to the top in order to throw bombs. Mario must jump on his head 3 times to defeat him. Dunk. Dunk is a basketball playing rabbit that you must play one-on-one in basketball with Wario to win. Wario must stun him to turn him into a ball and then throw him into a hoop to score points. Scoring 3 times will win the game, and subsequently, the boss fight. Shoot. Shoot is very similar to Dunk, but Shoot prefers playing soccer. Wario must turn the rabbit into a ball and then get it past the goaltending turtle to score 3 goals and win the match. Nabbit. Nabbit is a recurring purple rabbit character in the Mario franchise. Sometimes he's an annoying enemy that runs around, and other times he's a playable character. But in Mario and Sonic at the Rio Olympics 2016, he is a boss faced off with a 100-meter dash. And in Mario Kart Tour, he is also a boss race. Rabbit Kong. Alright, we're about to go down a rabbit hole here, because coming up we have a bunch of rabbit enemies. This is the Kong heavily based on Donkey Kong, and even wears his signature tie. His standard attack is sending out shockwaves to hurt the player. In battle, he starts out immune to damage until you stand on his banana button to drop his bananas out from behind him. Then you can attack him. Blizzy and Sandy. Blizzy and Sandy are a pair of rabbits known as the Hot and Cold Creeps. As a team, they serve as a mid-boss. The board they fight on is split into one that is half ice and half sand. Icicle Golem. This is an oversized ice rabbit boss. The Golem shield is actually a refrigerated door, which is very cute. It attacks by firing the ice cannon on its left arm. Midnight. Midnight is another Rabbids boss seen in Mario and Rabbids Spark of Hope. She has the ability to teleport around the board. She can also exhaust characters and raise her own attack. Dark Mess Edge. This is a copy of the player character Edge. It actually acts exactly like him in battle. Giant Wild Claw. A Giant Wild Claw serves as the first boss in Mario and Rabbids Spark of Hope. It is just a larger version of the standard enemy, the Wild Claw. He actually fights exactly identical, but is stronger and has more HP. Giant Depleter. Much like the Giant Wild Claw, this is also a giant version of a standard enemy with more HP and damage. Same is true of Giant Magnafowl. Calavera. Calavera serves as a mid-boss and his name means skull. He acts very similar to the basic enemy, the Buckler. He attacks by shaking and squeezing Rabbid Yoshi to have it spit projectiles at the player. Phantom. Phantom is an eccentric, music-loving rabbit ghost. He's actually one of the few enemies to appear in both the original Mario Rabbids game and the sequel. In his first fight, he only has 1 form, but in his third fight, he has 3 new forms: Swingin' Phantom, Rockin' Phantom, and Final Phantom, all which are based on different genres of music. Wario and Waluigi. These are a pair of rabbit bosses based on Wario and Waluigi, and are fought alongside the Lava Queen in battle. Lava Queen. Lava Queen is a boss that acts a lot like the regular enemy, the Valkyrie. She attacks by creating a giant shockwave that burns the player, because she's the Lava Queen, obviously. Giant Flaming Stooge. Much like the other giant bosses we just talked about, Giant Flaming Stooge acts just like a regular Flaming Stooge with more damage and HP, though he does look slightly different having a dragon hat. This is due to the budget at his fair being cut, so he needs to take the place of the CG dragon that was originally planned for his show. Topper, Harriet, Spewer, and Rango. These are 4 rabbits collectively known as the Brutals. Each Broto wears a unique hat, and the combat around them is based on that hat. Starting with Topper, he loves to clone his hat either on top of his head or in front of him. A weird fact about Topper is he actually talks with a Brooklyn accent.
I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
Harriet wears a metal hat and attacks with bombs. During the fight, she can retreat into the hat, flying it around like a flying saucer, and dropping bombs as well. Spewart, as his name sort of implies, has a hat that spews poison. Like the other Brutals, he will hide in his hat, but while he does so, he will leave a trail of poison. Rango is the tall and gangly Brutal. He uses his hat with sharp edges like a boomerang weapon similar to Kung Lao from Mortal Kombat. And I know it's weird that this is the second Mortal Kombat reference in this video, but don't worry, I'm pretty sure it's the last. Madame Brood. Madame Brood is the manager of the Brutals. She is an extremely large rabbit with a gold Chain Chomp pet. Her main attack is sending her pet Chain Chomp at Mario. Mario must use Cappy to knock the hat off of the Chain Chomp's head and then take control of it and pull away from Madame Brood. While Brood pulls back, Mario must release the Chain Chomp, sending it flying into her face. 3 hits defeats her. Actually, I forgot to mention, in at least one of every one of the Brutals fights, 3 hits beats them as well. Mid-Bus. Mid-Bus is the boss in Bowser's Inside Story. He is a large boss fought 2 times by Bowser. The first time he serves as a standard tutorial boss for the Bowser mechanics, and the second one he is more of a standard fight. He also returns later in the game as Blizzard Mid-Bus, who is an ice version of the boss and the strongest form of him. As you might suspect, he has ice-based attacks like throwing snowballs and summoning Snoffles. Boom. Boom is the second of 8 bosses in the NES version of Wario's Woods. Boom takes a total of 9 bombs to defeat. Minotaur. Minotaur is a Minotaur boss in the original Wario Land. The Minotaur will attack by attempting to pick up Wario and throw him into the lava. In order to defeat him, you must stun him and throw him in the lava first. Red Brief J. Alright, back to the weird Wario World bosses. This is a bull creature with a metallic helmet and a red speedo. He attacks by shooting fireballs from his hoofs, stomping, spinning, and charging. Wario can hurt him by knocking him into the lava that surrounds the stage. 3 Little Pigs. The 3 Little Pigs are a singular boss fight in Super Mario Land 2. They each sit in their house made of straw, wood, or brick and drop down one by one. The first one rolls in the ground, the second one does small bounces, and the third one does large bounces. Each takes 3 jumps to the feet. Mauser. Moving to Super Mario Bros. 2, we have Mauser. This is a large mouse enemy that attacks by throwing bombs. Mario must defeat him by picking up the bombs and throwing them back at him. He takes 3 total bombs to defeat. Sewer Rat. Sewer Rat is a boss found in Super Mario Land 2. He is a rat with a long pointy nose. He comes out of pipes and runs on the walls, ceilings, and floors. He is defeated with 3 jumps. Wolfen Boss. Wolfen Boss is a wizard wolf in a purple cloak. He is a boss in Wario Land 3. He flies around the top of the screen and throws magic projectiles to attack. Wario must wait for him to throw the spike ball down, which will hatch into an enemy that Wario can hit and knock into him. Bouncing 3 of these enemies into the Wolfen Boss will defeat him. Bunsen the Hot Dog. Bunsen the Hot Dog is a hot dog enemy made large by Kamek in Yoshi's Woolly World. The boss attacks by spitting fire and jumping around on the board. To hurt him, Yoshi must wait for him to charge a flame attack and then hit his face with yarn to muzzle his mouth. This will cause the fire to build up in his mouth and stun him. 3 hits will defeat him. Rollo-Dillo. Rollo-Dillo is a large, giant, blue armadillo boss in Mario Galaxy 2. During the fight, as you would suspect an enemy named Rollo-Dillo does, he rolls around trying to hurt Mario. Mario must use the boulder power-up to become a boulder and roll into his bottom, which is his weakness. Harry H. Harry H is a robot in fancy clothing and the 17th boss in the SNES version of Wario's Woods. T-Bear. T-Bear is the 3rd boss in Wario Blast featuring Bomberman. It is a teddy bear that flies around with 3 balloons. It attacks by shooting projectiles shaped like teddy bear heads. Ice Elemental. Ice Elemental is a giant origami polar bear and boss in Paper Mario the Origami King. It is one of 4 Vellumentals. To start the fight, the Ice Elemental will encase himself in ice, and Mario must use fire in order to melt it. Once the ice is melted, he can be attacked normally. Cave Master. Cave Master is a strange boss in Wario Land 2. He's a weird pig monster with shoulder pads, I think. He will shoulder charge at Wario to attack him. Wario must avoid these attacks and get behind him and then charge him off the edge. Knocking him off the edge 3 times defeats him. Sticking to weird bosses, now we have Cat Bat, who is the 5th boss in Wario Land 4. This boss is the combination of a cat and a bat. Halfway through the fight, the bat on its head is actually destroyed, which makes Wario now jump on the cat's head to damage it. Projector Cat. Projector Cat is a major boss in Princess Peach Showtime. Projector Cat is actually an extremely large cat. During the fight, it attacks by releasing mice that Peach can turn into bombs, for some odd reason. Once she makes one a bomb, she must place it in the middle of the room and leave it there. Then she must wait for Projector Cat to do a specific attack that will launch the bomb into her face. It takes 3 total hits to defeat this boss. King Totomesu. This is a boss from Super Mario Land that is only seen in this game. This boss fight is actually extremely similar to the original Super Mario Bros. Bowser fight, where to defeat him you must jump over him and hit a switch. Spot Lion. Spot Lion is another boss from Princess Peach Showtime. It is a giant lion that is also a spotlight. It attacks by shooting purple projectiles at Peach. To hurt the lion, Peach must knock the projectiles back at him. Count Fang. Like many bosses in Yoshi game, Count Fang is an enlarged version of a normal-sized enemy made big by Kamek. This one is in Yoshi's new island. Like most enemy and bosses in this game, he is hurt by throwing eggs at him, but only when he is not covering his face. It takes 3 total hits with eggs to defeat this boss. Rouge the Bat. Rouge the Bat is the well-known Sonic the Hedgehog character showing up in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. She has been faced off in many games throughout the years, including figure skating, the 100-meter hurdles, beach volleyball, and sports climbing. I'm not really sure what sports climbing is. Styx. Styx is yet another character from the Sonic franchise. She is faced off as a boss in archery in Rio 2016. Momoshka. Momoshka is a mammoth creature that has a layer of bricks as armor. Its weak spot is on its head, which is marked by an X. During the fight, she will summon brick monolith enemies that will help her by either attacking or providing her with a helmet. There is also a stronger version of this known as Momoshka X, who is stronger and bluer. Moving away from mammals, we're moving to sea creatures. And starting off our sea critters, we have Cheap Skipper. This is an oversized purple Cheep Cheep that serves as a boss in New Super Mario Bros. As an attack, it will jump out of the water and then bounce on the bridge. During the fight, regular sized Cheep Cheeps will also jump out of the water to hurt Mario. It takes 3 total jumps to defeat this boss. Bessie Bass. Bessie Bass is the Cheep Chomp, an already big Cheep Cheep that is enlarged by Kamek. She attacks by jumping out of the water. In order to hurt her, Yoshi must wait for her to take a large jump out of the water and then shoot an egg at her mouth. She takes 3 total hits with eggs to defeat her. Cheep Chomp. Cheep Chomp is a basic Mario enemy, but serves as a boss in Mario Party 10. This is during the minigame Mega Cheep Chomp's Shell Shock. Porcupuffer. At first, Porcupuffer will have his spikes out, so you must first hit him with Bob-Omb so Mario can then hurt him. 3 total hits defeats this boss. Big Cheep Cheep. A Big Cheep Cheep serves the boss in Mario Party 9 and Paper Mario Sticker Star. The way you defeat it in Sticker Star seems quite cruel, as you must use thumbtacks to pop it. Kingfin. Kingfin is an oversized shark skeleton that swims around to attack. In battle, he will summon bone fins that act like homing missiles at Mario. To hurt him, Mario must throw shells at him that are found around the level. Large Fry. Large Fry is a fish boss in Wario Land Shake It that flies around in a walk. In the battle, he will attack by trying to squish Wario and summon enemies. Wario must pick up the enemies and throw them at Large Fry for him to eat. After eating an enemy, he will spit out a bomb that Wario can pick up and throw at him, which he will also eat, but it will hurt him. After each hit, he gets bigger until he pops like a balloon. Angler Mangler. Angler Mangler is a mini-boss from Wario World that shows up twice in the game. It is an oversized angular fish that attacks with ice. Wario must pick up the barrel buster enemies summoned during the fight and pile drive them into the Mangler in order to hurt it. Razor. Razor is the 9th boss in the Super Nintendo version of Wario's Woods. He is a blue fish person with red fins and lips. Big Kamu Kamu. This is the boss from Wario Land 2. He is a large spiked fish that swims at Wario and tries to bite him. His weakness is his underbelly, which Wario must simply swim at 4 times to defeat him. After the 3rd hit, he turns red and actually swims faster. Pisces. Pisces is a combination of a fish and a mouse. He swims in the water below Wario, and Wario must stand on the dragonflies above in order to not be eaten. During the battle, flies will fly overhead holding cheese. Wario must make them drop this cheese, which Pisces will eat. Once he eats 3 of the cheese wedges, he will get too big, sink to the bottom, and be taken by the current. Furious Fred Duflet. This is a Jean Duflet enlarged by Kamek. Apparently, being enlarged by Kamek changed his name from Jean to Fred. During the fight, the fish will jump out of lava and send lava waves to attack. To hurt him, Yoshi must first ground pound the button on top of the fish, and then hit him with eggs. 3 total hits defeats him. Dragon Zamasu. This is a large seahorse boss from Super Mario Land. It takes 20 total torpedoes to defeat him. Stuffy the 64th. Stuffy the 64th is the boss in Wario Master of the Skies. This fight takes place over 3 phases, with each phase taking place in a new room. During the fight, Stuffy will attack by shooting glowing round projectiles, or summoning Fluffy the Dolphins, which will shoot lasers. Phantom Manta. Phantom Manta, originally just known as Manta, is a boss in Mario Sunshine. This is a strange shadow creature that moves along the ground, leaving a trail of electric goop. By spraying it with Flood, it will break into many smaller Mantas, and then those will break into even smaller Mantas, until they are eventually destroyed. Eelymouth. Eelymouth, also from Super Mario Sunshine, is a large black eel. It rises out of a giant chasm and attacks Mario with toxic tears. He will also attempt to breathe in and swallow Mario. To defeat him, Mario must clean all of his teeth. Once they are all cleaned, he will give Mario his gold tooth, which is a shine sprite. Big Blooper. A Big Blooper first appears as the boss in Paper Mario, though it is confusingly simply called a blooper. But this is 100% a Big Blooper. It is not a normal sized blooper. We see Big Blooper return as a boss in Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door as well. Besides the Paper Mario games, the only other times it is seen as a boss is in Mario Party games. Big Blooper, not to be confused with Big Blooper. This is a blooper named Big Blooper. He is seen in Super Paper Mario, and he is distinctively different and has his own look. He sits in the background of the level and uses his tentacles to attack. To hurt him, time, you must either jump on the red tentacles or use Bowser's fire to hit them. Electro Blooper. Electro Blooper is an optional boss in Paper Mario. He is one of 3 blooper bosses in the game, and he is the middle ground for strength. As you might suspect by its name, it has the ability to gain an electric charge, which prevents Mario and his partners from making contact. Super Blooper. Super Blooper is the 3rd blooper boss in Paper Mario and the strongest of the 3. He has all the abilities of the previous bloopers from this game and can also spawn baby bloopers to help him. Gooper Blooper. Unlike normal bloopers, he is rather large and found sitting on land. He serves as a very standard boss for Sunshine and Super Princess Peach. Of this boss's 5 appearances, his weirdest one is in Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 games. In this Olympic sport, players must stay on a boat while the Gooper Blooper tries to knock them off with his tentacles. Why is this in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games? Paper Macho Gooper Blooper. This is a giant paper mache version of Gooper Blooper. He is fought like most other Paper Macho enemies in the game, which is Mario free running around and hitting him with a hammer. King Calamari. King Calamari is an oversized blooper boss in Super Mario RPG. The boss is broken into 3 parts: the head, left tentacle, and right tentacle. Octo. Octo, originally known as Scowler, is an octopus boss. To hurt him, Wario must hit the button on his head to make Octo do a spin attack. Then Wario must hit his weak bottom side to do damage. Doing this 3 total times defeats the boss. Octopus. The boss, simply known as Octopus, is from Super Mario Land 2. It swims around in water and attacks by releasing smaller octopus. The smaller octopuses cannot be defeated and must be avoided. It is defeated by 3 hits to the head. King Caliente. King Caliente is a boss from Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. It is unclear if King Caliente is a single character or if there are multiple different King Calientes. He attacks by shooting fireballs at Mario. Sometimes instead of shooting a fireball, he'll shoot a coconut, which Mario can knock back at King Caliente. 3 total hits will defeat him. King Caliente Black. King Caliente Black is the stronger version of King Caliente, but he is only seen in Super Mario Galaxy 1. In the fight, he has the exact same attack pattern as King Caliente, but is much harder for a few reasons. 1, there is less space to stand on, and 2, there are lava bubbles running around the whole level. He is defeated the same way as King Caliente. Prince Picante. Prince Picante is a boss in Super Mario Galaxy 2, and is highly inferred to be related to King Caliente. In the fight, he rides around in a giant barrel with spiked wheels. He attacks by shooting flaming rocks. Much like his father, King Caliente, he is defeated by 3 hits. Mollusk Lancer. He attacks by throwing spiked balls at Mario and spinning in a circle quickly. To hurt him, Mario must capture a Gushin to get on top of his head and clear the lava off. Then Mario can ground pound on his head to do damage. Once he is defeated, his head inflates and explodes. Yaroctopus. Yaroctopus is a pirate octopus and the first boss in Yoshi's Crafted World. He will stand on a ship in the background and attack by shooting things at Yoshi. Yoshi must wait for him to expose himself and then throw eggs to hurt him. 3 total eggs defeats him. Sea Devil. Sea Devil is a strange pop boss that is underwater. He is found in Yoshi's Safari. I list him as an octopus as he attacks by releasing octopuses. Kraken. Kraken is a boss from Mario and Rabbids Spark of Hope. The Kraken is made out of cardboard and is a prop on a pirate set. The Dark Mass has taken over the set and is using the Kraken as a weapon. To defeat it, Mario must destroy all the Dark Mass eyes around and release the Kraken. Johnny. Johnny is a major boss in Super Mario RPG. Though at first glance he might look like a shark, he is clearly somebody in a shark costume. Johnny is an extremely strong foe, and actually truly isn't defeated by the end of the fight, but instead just conceives and gives Mario the star because he is a worthy adversary. Claw Grip. Claw Grip is an oversized crab that will move from side to side and throw rocks at Mario in Super Mario Bros. 2. Mario must pick up these rocks and throw them back at him to hurt him. It takes 5 to kill him. Hermes III. Hermes III is a crab with a Christmas tree shell. He is a boss in Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. Hermes has 2 attacks, either extending his claw or shooting bubbles. King Claw Daddy. King Claw Daddy is a Claw Daddy made big by Kamek. In the fight, he attacks by enlarging his claw and spinning it in circles. To hurt him, Yoshi must first get rid of all the bubbles around him. Once all the bubbles are removed, Yoshi can then throw an egg and do damage. 3 total eggs defeats him. Sandfish. Sandfish is the second major boss in Virtual Boy Wario Land. The Sandfish will jump from the background to the foreground trying to land on Wario. If he misses, he will break the blocks that Wario is standing on. Then he will pop out of the ground, giving Wario a chance to hit him. But you must be quick because if he sees you coming, he will run away. 3 total jumps defeats him. Alright, that's every sea creature enemy. Moving on, we have the Scaly enemies, which includes amphibians, lizards, dragons, and things like that. Leading it off is Wart. Wart is the final boss of Super Mario Bros. 2. He's a large frog that moves back and forth on a platform and spits bubbles to attack. During the fight, vegetables come out of pipes and Mario must pick them up and throw them back into Wart's mouth. You must force him to eat 6 vegetables in order to defeat him. Froggy. Froggy is a boss from Yoshi's Island and is very strange. In the boss fights for this game, Kamek usually grows the boss, but instead he shrinks Yoshi in this case. This allows Froggy to eat him, and the battle takes place inside of Froggy. Froggy will then swallow Shy Guys that Yoshi must eat and then use the eggs to throw at his uvula. Tadrock. Tadrock is the 10th boss in Wario's Woods. He is a frog in punk clothing. Pretty simple. Dynamite. Dynamite is a boss from Wario World. She is a dinosaur in a very revealing bikini. In the fight, Wario must grab onto the end of her tail in order to get high enough to jump on her head and stun her. Once she is stunned, Wario can then perform a special move on her, Green Fist. Green Fist is another boss from Wario World. As he is the first boss, he is fairly simple, having only 2 attacks, a fist slam and windmill arms.
I'm gonna be doing this. If you get hit, it's your own fault.
Like all the other bosses in the game, Wario must punch him and then do a special move on him. Francis. Francis is a chameleon and a stereotypical video game nerd. He is extremely awkward and cannot interact with women. His personality comes off as what you could describe as an incel. To start the fight, he will put Princess Peach with him in a dating sim called Swoon.exe. Once the dating sim is complete, the real fight will begin. As he is a chameleon, he has the ability to turn invisible and reappear. Krocko. Krocko is a boss fought 2 times in Super Mario RPG. He is a purple crocodile that wears a top hat and has a sack over his shoulder. The sack is meant to show you that he's a thief, as all thieves walk around with sacks over their shoulder. The first time you fight him is to get back your stolen coins, and the second time is to get a stolen bomb to progress in your journey. Earth Elemental. Earth Elemental is an origami turtle worshipped by Koopa Troopas. To attack him, Mario must hammer his head, limbs, or tail. Earth Elemental can attack by spitting sand or causing earthquakes. Giant Snake. Giant Snake is the first boss of Wario Land 2. The snake is beaten by 3 ground pounds or 6 normal jumps. Triclide. Triclide is a 3-headed snake that sits on a platform and spits fire to attack. He is defeated by picking up and throwing mushroom blocks at him. 3 total blocks defeats him. Histocrat. Histocrat is a large, oversized snake boss in Super Mario 3D World. He attacks by popping out of the ground, which will send rocks flying in the air that will fall down. To hurt him, Mario must wait for his servants to pop out of the ground, which have plates on their head. This allows Mario to jump on the plates to get higher and then jump on his head. 3 hits defeats him. Pink Histocrat. This is essentially the same fight, but instead of falling rocks, there is falling fire that will make lava pools. She also takes 3 hits to defeat. Light Fang. Light Fang is a boss from Princess Peach Showtime, but it is not a traditional boss. It is instead a platforming boss where you must maneuver through the level without getting the snake's eyesight. Blissaurus. Blissaurus is a dinosaur boss in Super Princess Peach. After being hurt a few times, she reveals her true form, which is a fairy. Don Bongo. Don Bongo is a boss from Yoshi's Story. His weakness is his lips. You must hit his lips with 3 eggs to defeat him. Lizardon. Lizardon is a purple dinosaur and the 12th boss in the SNES version of Wario's Woods. Squizzard. Squizzard is a boss in Super Mario Galaxy 2 that sits in the middle of a sinkhole. In the fight, he will attack by launching sand balls, spike balls, or giant bombs. To hurt him, Mario must use the Fire Flower power-up to shoot fireballs in his mouth. Glamdozer. Glamdozer is an oversized pup dozer that appears to be their queen. She starts the fight sleeping. To start the fight, Mario must wake her up by going to the other side of the platform and ground pounding the grate below her. Mario must ground pound through these grates 3 times to defeat her. Espio. Espio is a chameleon character from Sonic the Hedgehog. In Mario vs. Sonic at the Olympic Games, he is faced off in triple jump and long jump. Dinosaur Fish. Dinosaur Fish is the first major boss of Virtual Boy Wario Land. He is a weird amphibian creature with a spike ball attached to his head, similar to an anglerfish. He starts in the background and attacks by throwing spike balls at the foreground. Wario must wait for him to come to the foreground and then jump on his head. As you might guess, 3 hits defeats him. Birdo. Birdo is a boss that first appeared in Super Mario Bros. 2. She was faced at the end of most levels in the game. Her signature attack is shooting eggs. In the fight, you must take these eggs and throw them back at her to defeat her. In this fight, she is defeated by 3 eggs. Though Birdo is a staple of the Mario franchise, she is mostly used as a playable character or NPC in games. Her only other traditional boss fights are in Super Mario RPG, where you must face her egg first to beat her, and in Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, where she has fought alongside Popple. Reznor. Reznor is a group of 4 dinosaur bosses that first appeared in Super Mario World. They will ride around on platforms like a Ferris wheel and attack by shooting fire. In order to defeat them, Mario must bonk the platform they are on with his head. Besides Super Mario World, the only other game they are seen in is New Super Mario Bros. 2, where they act the exact same, but have updated graphics. Dragon Ho-Ho. Dragon Ho-Ho is a boss in Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. He attacks by spitting flaming Ho-Ho blocks at the brothers. Gobblegut. Gobblegut is a dragon boss in Super Mario Galaxy. He will fly around the planet and try and eat Mario. To hurt him, Mario must use a spin attack on the red orb part of his body. Mario can jump into the air in order to reach the orbs, but it is easier to wait for Gobblegut to dig inside the planet and then hit the red orbs that will get stuck. Rayquaza. Rayquaza, who obviously is a Pokemon, is a boss in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. In the game, he is part of the Subspace Emissary story mode. He is fought with either Fox or Diddy Kong. Water Vellumental. Water Vellumental is a large water origami dragon. In the battle, the dragon starts out flying and must be jumped on in order to ground it. Once it is grounded, it can then be hit with hammer attacks. As you might guess, all of its attacks are water-based. Dragodon. Dragodon is a boss in Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. He's a giant dragon, but because this is Captain Toad, you can't truly attack him. Instead, his fights are giant platforming sections where you must go slow and avoid his attacks. He has fought 3 total times in the game. Gold Dragodon. This is the same exact enemy, but golden, and he shoots golden fireballs. The stage is different, but the idea is the same. This is a platforming boss. Dual Dragon. Dual Dragon is a boss from Wario World. Like all the terrible bosses in this game, you must punch him and then use special moves to defeat him. Drago. Drago is a 6th boss in the NES version of Wario's Woods. It's a dragon that has the ability to spit fire. Zar Dragon. Zar Dragon is a dragon made out of lava bubbles and is a major boss in Super Mario RPG. Once Zar Dragon is defeated, it will actually become Zombone, who is a skeleton version of the Zar Dragon. Hooktail. Hooktail is a Chapter 1 boss in Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. Her weakness is a sound effect badge that is found in her castle. In the original game, it was a cricket badge, but in the remake, it makes frog sounds. Once Hooktail has taken enough damage, she will actually trick Mario by offering him 1,000 coins, then offering him a badge, and third, by offering to let Mario smell her feet. Obviously, if you accept any of these, she will attack you. Is that in the Super Mario mashup with Minecraft, Hooktail is actually the Ender Dragon. Gloomtail. Gloomtail is the older brother of Hooktail, and a much stronger boss found later in the game. Gloomtail has poison breath that, if not blocked, will poison Mario and his partner. She also has a charge attack called Mega Breath, which will deal 16 damage once it's charged up. Bonetail. Bonetail is an optional boss in Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, but at the end of the Pit of 100 Trials. Its main attack is called Dangerous Breath, which will apply different effects depending on its color if not blocked. Bonetail is intended to be one of the hardest bosses in the entire game, and the Pit of 100 Trials is meant to be the hardest challenge in the game, so beating this boss is a huge achievement. Bone Dragon. Bone Dragon is an undead skeleton dragon. His heads are seen throughout the level by Yoshi and can be defeated, but you find the full Bone Hydra as a mini boss. Bone Chill. Bone Chill is a boss in Super Paper Mario. As you might guess, with a name like Bone Chill, all of his attacks are ice-based. The main way to defeat this boss is by picking up his ice attacks and throwing them back at him. Fractal. Fractal is the boss of the first world in Super Paper Mario. It is a large robot dragon. In the fight, Mario must get on Fractal's back and then pick up the enemy Frackles and hit them against Fractal's antenna to hurt him. Fractal is one of the only bosses in the game who doesn't actually have HP, but instead must simply be hit 9 times. Ractal. Ractal is a palette swap of Fractal. He serves as the final boss in the flip side Pit of 100 Trials. In the fight, instead of Frackles, you have Rackles, and he must be hit 30 times instead of 9. Ruined Dragon, aka the Lord of Lightning. The Ruined Dragon is a boss in Super Mario Odyssey, found in the Ruined Kingdom. He's a dragon that looks like he has absolutely no place in a Mario game. As he is the Lord of Lightning, all of his attacks are lightning based, such as creating shockwaves or throwing electric buzzsaws. To hurt him, Mario must wait for his head to be slammed down. Then he must climb on his head and remove the ruins and ground pound down to hurt him. 3 ground pounds defeats this huge dragon, which is quite surprising. You'd think it would take more hits. Rathalos. Rathalos is a large dragon from the Monster Hunter series. It is fought as a boss in Super Mario Bros. Ultimate. It has many attacks including charging, flying around, swooping, and firing projectiles. Like many bosses in the game, it simply has a health bar that must be depleted. Rathalos is the final Scaly enemy, meaning we need a new category, and that's gonna be birds. Led off by Jet, a character from Sonic the Hedgehog. Obviously, he's seen in Sonic and Mario at the Olympic Games. Throughout the series, he has been faced in many different games as a boss, such as Snowboard, a parallel giant slalom, Soccer as a team, and Soccer Shootout. Wave, yet another character from Sonic. This one is only a boss in Rio 2016, where she has faced off in BMX. Kookatile. Kookatile is a large bird dressed like a chef from Super Mario Odyssey. She is found in the Luncheon Kingdom. In the fight, Mario has captured a lava bowl with Cappy and must swim around the hot soup. She attacks by spitting food and spike balls at Mario. To hurt her, Mario must wait and swim up her spit attack in order to jump on her head. 3 hits to the head defeats her. Mask Gate. Usually the Mask Gate is an inanimate object in Super Mario Bros. 2 that is used to exit the level, but in the final level it serves as the boss, as it will come to life and follow Mario around the room. It is defeated by being hit by 3 mushroom blocks. Who is an owl boss in Super Princess Peach. To attack, Who will drop eggs that will hatch into Hoolits that Peach viciously murders right away. Whose other attack is Swooping, which Peach must wait for in order to jump on his head. Jumping on his head 3 times will destroy the ground and change the fight, making Peach use her Joy ability to float and get the last 2 hits. Buzzer. Buzzer is an optional boss in Paper Mario. He is hired by Bowser to prevent Mario from crossing a certain bridge. When Mario tries to cross the bridge, Buzzer will stop him and ask who he is. If he says Mario, he will attack him. If he says Princess Peach, he will attack him as well. well. But if he says Luigi, he will leave him alone and not fight him. Raphael the Raven. This is a strange chubby bird that can walk on walls. He has 2 total boss fights. The first one is in Yoshi's Island and it takes place in the moon. The moon is actually fairly small and has poles that Yoshi can ground pound. When he does, they will come out the other side. He must hit Raphael with the poles in order to hurt him. 3 hits will defeat him. He also returns to the boss in Tetris Attack, which is a puzzle game, so he's kinda just a basic boss. Fire Elemental. Fire Elemental is a giant origami phoenix in Paper Mario the Origami King. He attacks by spitting fire and throwing fire shards on the board. To damage the bird, Mario must jump on him with the iron boots so as not to get burned. Rock Hawk. Rock Hawk is the champion of the Glitz Pit and boss in Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. As the champion of the Glitz Pit, he has the championship belt, which has a crystal star on it. It is later revealed that this is a fake crystal star, but this is why Mario is trying to defeat him. Though he is believed to be the final boss of the chapter, he's actually fairly simple to defeat. Disco Wing. Disco Wing is a large bird with a disco ball body. It is the boss in Princess Peach Showtime. To attack, the bird will drop disco balls that are eggs. Peach must use her magic to hatch the disco balls, making the baby chicks fly up. To damage the boss, she must make the chicks hit the disco wing. 3 total hits defeats her. Dodo. Dodo is a large bird and the right-hand man of Valentina. He is a boss in Super Mario RPG. He has 2 total fights. The first is an optional fight that can be avoided by playing a minigame. The second, he is in a team with Valentina. In this fight, he will actually grab one of Mario's partners and drag them to a one-on-one battle. Parador. Parador is the 6th boss in the SNES version of Wario's Woods. He's a large green parrot in clown shoes. Bobo. Bobo is a large purple bird from the Wario Land series. He serves as the boss in the first and second game. In the first game, he attacks by releasing birds to attack Wario. Wario must stun the birds and throw them back at him to defeat him. In the second game, Bobo is actually much smaller and attacks by swooping. While he swoops down, Wario can jump on his head. In both of these fights, he is defeated by 3 hits. Big Bird. Sadly, not the Sesame Street character, but rather this guy. He serves as the very first boss in Super Mario Land 2. Like a lot of birds, he has the patented swoop attack, which Mario must wait for and then jump on his head. Big Bird takes 3 hits to defeat. Cuckoo Condor. Cuckoo Condor is the 3rd boss in Wario Land 4. It's broken into 2 phases, the clock phase and the bird phase. During its clock phase, it will drop saws, use electricity, and use its claws to attack. In the second phase, Cuckoo Condor is simply a bird, maybe a bird ghost, I'm not really sure. In this phase, he will fly back and forth, dropping eggs that will hatch in the ducts that explode. Penguin. Penguin is a boss in the original Wario Land. When he first spawns, he has no hat and can be jumped on to be hit. After the first hit, he will put on a spiked hat, meaning he can no longer be jumped on. So Wario must shoulder charge him and knock the helmet off, and then jump on him 2 more times to defeat him. That's 3 total hits to defeat this boss. Wingo. Wingo is a giant bird that serves as the main antagonist for Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. In the game, he steals a Power Star and kidnaps Toadette. The first part of the fight with Wingo is a platforming section. Once Toad reaches the top of the stage, he will have to throw turnips at Wingo in order to defeat him. 3 total turnips will do it. Zkeeper. Zkeeper is a giant bird boss fought by Giant Luigi and Mario Luigi Dream Team. Most of the fight is a chase sequence where Giant Luigi must run and chase after the bird. Luigi must chase the bird 3 times and catch it 3 times in order to defeat it. Zkeeper X is a harder version of this boss. Miss Cluck the Insincere. This is a Peeply enemy made large by Kamek. The Peeply is actually hiding inside the pants of Mrs. Cluck's costume. To stun it, Yoshi must eat the pants off of the Mrs. Cluck and then ground pound on its head. 3 total hits defeats this boss. Tin Can Condor. Tin Can Condor is the 2nd major boss in Yoshi's Crafted World. The Condor has many different attacks, including a spin slam, laying spiked eggs that roll on the ground, and dropping paper airplanes that act like spikes. To hurt the bird, Yoshi must eat a magnet and then spit it at the can of the bird, making it fall to the ground. Then he can ground pound on its weakness. 3 total hits defeats this boss as well. Sacred Flame Beast. The Sacred Flame Beast is a giant phoenix boss in Mario Golf Super Rush. In the battle, you are assisted by Wario and Waluigi. Both will run around creating electric orbs that you can use to hit at the boss. After 3 hits, the boss will do a supercharged attack that you must deflect back to defeat it. Alright, now that we're done with birds, let's go to the main food, insects. And yes, I know, this isn't technically an insect, but whatever. The first boss is Tarantox. Tarantox is a really gross spider boss from Super Mario Galaxy 1. To attack, it spits green poison at Mario. For Mario to hurt the boss, he must fling himself into the glowing weak spot. Once he has hit all the weak spots, it will flip over and Mario can hit him in his true weak spot, his butt. You only have to do this 2 times to defeat this boss. Spider-Atticus. Spider-Atticus is the boss in Wario World. It is a large spider that attacks by shooting webs. Wario must use the webs to get high enough to jump on top of the bug and stun it. Once stunned, he can use a special move to do damage. A monster. The monster is yet another spider boss, this one from Wario Land 3. To start the fight, he bobs on a string up and down, and attacks by spitting web at Wario. Once the web hits the ground, it will turn into a ball that Wario can pick up and throw at him. After he's hit with the ball, he will drop to the ground, where Wario can jump on him. 3 total hits defeats this boss. Big Scuttlebug. Big Scuttlebug is a boss encountered in Paper Mario Sticker Star. The boss overall is pretty straightforward. The fight requires the Fire Flower sticker and Ice Flower stickers to destroy his web before he can be hurt. Wiggler. Wiggler is an extremely common Mario enemy seen throughout the franchise. He's also a fairly common boss, being seen in this role in 9 different Mario games. The first game where Wiggler serves as a boss is in Super Mario 64, where he simply runs around and you have to jump on his head 3 times to defeat him. The next time Wiggler will be seen as a boss is in Super Mario Sunshine. In this game it is strangely green but still just called Wiggler. Here you must flip it over and ground pound it to defeat it. Wiggler Segment. 4 Wiggler segments serve as mini bosses in Paper Mario Sticker Star. The first 3 all look exactly the same, but the 4th one is crumpled and has ink on it. Dermite. Dermite is a boss in Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. He is fought by the brothers inside of Bowser. She is a large insect creature that can attack by extending a web from her mouth or charging at the brothers. The stronger version is Dermite X that is fought during the boss gauntlet of the game. Wisdom. Wisdom is the same creature as Dermite, but in a different form. Wisdom is much smaller than Dermite. She can attack by swinging from her web at the brothers. Once she is defeated, it is revealed her true form is a butterfly. Wisdom X is the stronger version fought in the boss gauntlet. Swiggler. Swiggler is a shrewd wiggler that serves as the boss in Mario & Luigi Partners in Time. Throughout the fight, Swiggler will always have a drink next to it, which it will periodically drink throughout the fight. The Swiggler is also accompanied by Dr. Shrooms. If the bros hit a Dr. Shroob that is holding a mushroom, they will drop it and it will go into the drink. The Mario brothers must prevent normal mushrooms going into the Swiggler's drink as it will heal him, and they must try and get poison mushrooms to go in the drink as it will incapacitate him. Sandworm. Sandworm is a boss in Wario World. He attacks by spitting spike balls and swiping his claws. Like most bosses in this game, he is simply defeated by punching him in the face. Wormwood. Wormwood is a boss in Wario Land 3. He attacks by burrowing under the ground and popping up to spit rocks. Wario must jump on his head to defeat him. 3 jumps will defeat him. Scutlet. Scutlet is a boss found inside of Bowser's body. It is actually found blocking Bowser's fire pipe, preventing him from spitting fire. To start the fight, Scutlet will eat the bros' ally, Starlo. It attacks by either sticking its tongue out or spitting Starlo at the bros. Giant Bee. Giant Bee is the second major boss in Wario Land 2. This bee has a strange-shaped head and long neck. He attacks by dropping down and trying to sting Wario, but if he misses, he will get stuck on the ground. This will allow Wario to jump on his head. After each hit, he will summon mini bees to help him in battle. Mandibug Stack. Mandibug Stack is a large Mandibug and a small Mandibug stacked on top of each other. This boss is found in both Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. To defeat it, Mario must first ground pound the small bug on top, which makes the big one angry. Then he must ground pound the large one to defeat it. Bugaboom. Bugaboom is a large flying Mandibug boss in Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. In both games, his attack patterns are exactly the same. He flies around the stage and Mario must ground pound on his back to hurt him. The difference between these 2 fights is in Mario Galaxy 1, you must use the B power-up to get high enough to ground pound, and in Mario Galaxy 2, you must use the Cloud power-up to get high enough. Leave a comment below if you want me to do every single Mario power-up in a video. In both games, you take 3 ground pounds to defeat. Priscilla the Peckish. Priscilla the Peckish is a strange bug creature in Yoshi's Island DS. She is the final boss of World 3. She's a bug that will jump out of the sand and try and bite Yoshi. Once she jumps out of the sand, Yoshi can hit her with an egg to damage her. It takes 3 total hits to defeat her. Sluggy the Unshaven. Sluggy the Unshaven is a slug boss made large by Kamek. Its body goes from the floor to the ceiling so it cannot be jumped over. It will attack by walking slowly forward, eventually pushing Yoshi off the edge. Yoshi can throw eggs at Sluggy, but they don't hurt him. Instead, they will just misshape him. Yoshi must throw eggs in the same spot, making a larger dent, which will allow an egg to actually get to its heart. Hit its heart 3 times and it is defeated. Puku Puku. Puku Puku is a weird bug thing that serves as the 6th boss of Wario Blast featuring Bomberman. It attacks by shooting a crystal out of its mouth. As with all the bosses in this game, it must be hit with bombs in order to hurt it. Puku Puku finishes off the bugs, and starting off our new category, the plants, is going to be Petey Piranha. Petey Piranha is a recurring boss first introduced in Super Mario Sunshine. Petey Piranha also serves as the typical Mario RPG boss in Mario & Luigi Partners in Time, Paper Mario Sticker Star, Mario & Luigi Paper Jam, and Paper Mario Color Splash. My personal favorite boss appearance of his is in Mario Pinball Land, where he just sits in the middle of the screen and you must fling Pinball Mario into him. Overall, Petey Piranha has been seen in 13 different Mario games. Paper Petey Piranha. Paper Petey Piranha is exactly Petey Piranha, but paper, as seen in Mario & Luigi Paper Jam. He actually comes in a large stack of Petey Piranhas. PT Piranha. PT Piranha is a variant of Petey Piranha that is almost identical, but has a tea bag attached to him. He is a boss in Paper Mario Sticker Star and can be knocked down by using the lemon thing. And I'm not kidding, the weapon is literally called the lemon thing. Bomb Piranha. Bomb Piranha is a piranha plant boss in Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. In the battle, she is accompanied by 2 regular piranha plants. To attack, she can either extend out her vines or send out an energy blast. If you defeat the piranha plants that are with her in battle, she can also spawn new ones. Smilix. Smilix is yet another piranha plant boss, this one from Super Mario RPG. The boss is fought in 4 phases. After each phase, it will get bigger and bigger. In between phases, it is watered by Valentino's Bezo. Technically, the final form of this boss is called Mega Smilex, but it's all part of the same boss fight, so I'm counting it as the same boss. Lava Piranha. Continuing with piranha plant bosses, Lava Piranha is the Chapter 5 boss in the original Paper Mario. The battle is fought in 2 phases. The difference between the 2 phases is that in the second phase, the Lava Piranha is on fire, which prevents Mario from jumping on it and increases its attack by 2. Naval Piranha. Naval Piranha is a recurring boss from the Yoshi series of games. The first fight is in Yoshi's Island, where Kamek enlarges a piranha plant. The weak spot of the Naval Piranha is its belly button, which Yoshi must hit with eggs in order to defeat it. There's also an Easter egg way to defeat it, which is if Yoshi throws an egg at it before he starts the boss fight, he will defeat it in 1 hit. It makes its true return as a boss in Yoshi's Woolly World. Both these fights take 3 hits to complete. Big Bungee Plant. Big Bungee Plant is exactly what its name says, a large bungee plant. As you might be able to guess, he is made large by Kamek. This is a boss from Yoshi's Island DS. Throughout the fight, he will release nipper spores that, when they hit the ground, will turn to nippers. These enemies can be eaten by Yoshi to make eggs in order to damage the boss. It takes 3 hits to defeat it. Spiked Piranha Plant. Spiked Piranha Plant is a boss from Yoshi's Crafted World. To attack, he will spit both Spike Balls and Shy Guys. During the fight, the boss will put Party Balls at the top of the screen, which Yoshi must hit to drop Spike Balls on the head of the enemy. 3 hits from these Spike Balls defeats him. Big Fire Piranha. Big Fire Piranha is a recurring enemy in the Mario series, but only serves as a boss in its premier game, Super Mario 64. Mario must defeat 5 of them on Tiny Huge Island with a kick or a punch in order to earn a star. Big Piranha Plant. Big Piranha Plants are yet another very common enemy from the Mario series. However, they only serve as a boss in 1 game, Mario Party DS, where they have fought in the minigame called Feed and Seed, where the objective is to drop explosive seeds into the piranha's mouth. Dino Piranha. Dino Piranha is a boss in Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. In both games, it has the exact same behavior. At the start of the fight, Mario will land on the giant egg and crack it. During the fight, Mario must spin his tail to make it go flying and snap back and hit him. It takes 3 total hits to defeat the Dino Piranha. Black Dino Piranha. This is a stronger version of the Dino Piranha with a few small differences. The main difference is that his tail will light on and off with fire, so Mario must wait for there to be no fire in order to spin attack. Pee-wee Piranha. Pee-wee Piranha is very similar to Dino Piranha, but it wears its egg like a diaper. To hurt him, Mario must spin to break the egg off. Then he must spin the plant's red bottom to hurt him. After the first hit, he will rebuild the egg and then move faster. And Mario must do the same thing in order to defeat him. Piranha Bean. Piranha Bean is a species of piranha plant that look a lot like Petey Piranha. One of them serves as a boss in Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. In the game, this is a fight that is fought solo by Luigi.
Oh no!
Proto Piranha. Proto Piranhas, originally known as gatekeepers, are bosses exclusive to Super Mario Sunshine. These piranha plants are made completely of goop and come in many different colors. They are defeated by spraying them in the mouth with Flood. Parabid Plant. Parabid Plant is a mid-boss in Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. As its name suggests, it is the combination of a piranha plant and a rabbid. It attacks by shooting fireballs from its staff. Daphne. Daphne is a plant-rabbid hybrid boss. Her main attack is shooting 2 targets at once. She is fought in 3 phases and must have her health depleted 3 times in order to beat her. Kabloom. Kabloom is a sentient flower that floats in the air and is a boss in Wario Master of the Skies. During the fight, Kabloom will drop explosives and seedweeds to attack Wario. Thorn Plant. Thorn Plant is a boss in Princess Peach Showtime. It is fought by Peach in her sword fighter form. She must use her sword to cut through the vines and then attack the main flower. Popple. Popple is a boss from Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga and Mario & Luigi Dream Team. In Superstar Saga, he is fought with his partner in crime, Rookie, who as mentioned earlier is Bowser with amnesia. Later in the game, he is also fought alongside his other partner in crime, Birdo. In Mario & Luigi Dream Team, he returns and is an ally at first, but obviously immediately betrays the Mario brothers and must be fought. Big Beanie. Big Beanie is a Mama-san enemy enlarged by Kamek. He is hurt like most Yoshi enemies by throwing eggs at him. He will attack by popping vines out of the ground and by spitting Mami-san enemies at Yoshi. Also with a lot of Yoshi bosses, he is defeated in 3 hits. Queen Bean. Queen Bean is a boss from Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. Her main attack is pounding the ground and sending shockwaves at the brother that they must jump over. To start the fight, the brothers must attack her arms in order to bring down her resistance. Once both arms are defeated and deflated, the crown will fall off her head, making her vulnerable to jump attacks and losing her resistance to hammer attacks. When her arms are deflated, she attacks by spitting beans at the brothers. Bloomsday. Bloomsday is a large potted plant boss in Wario Land Shake It. Wario must pick up enemies and throw them at the plant to stun it, then shoulder charge the pot to knock it back. The boss is defeated once its pot is knocked into the water. Pea flower. Pea flower is a plant with 4 leaves that spins around. It serves as the 4th boss in Wario Blast featuring Bomberman. It is invulnerable to attacks until it releases its petals, then it can be hit. Sam Spook. Sam Spook is the 4th boss in the SNES version of Wario's Woods. He has a body similar to Wario's and the head of a pumpkin. Big Pokey. Giant Pokeys are standard enemies in Mario, but they serve as a boss in 2 games, Mario Kart Wii and Mario & Luigi Paper Jam. In Mario Kart Wii, you must drive around a giant sand vortex, grab bombs, and throw them at the plant. In Mario & Luigi Paper Jam, it is more of a standard Mario RPG boss, but he is fought alongside Tower Power Pokey, who appears as a boss twice in the Mario franchise. First during Paper Mario Sticker Star, and reappeared in the fight with Big Pokey in Mario & Luigi Paper Jam. During its first fight, it will attack by either trying to fall onto Mario or summoning green Pokeys. He is defeated in this fight by the Bat item, which Mario can use to get rid of all of its body segments. Punky the Pokey Prince. This is the Pokey enlarged by Kamek in Yoshi's New Island. In the fight, Punky has 3 attacks, sending out spike projectiles, popping out of the ground, and shooting Pokey Palms into the air. Yoshi must avoid these attacks and wait for Punky to withdraw his spikes. When he does, Yoshi can throw an egg at his head to hurt him. 3 eggs defeats him. Mega Paper Macho Pokey. This is a giant paper mache Pokey boss in Paper Mario the Origami King. In the fight, Mario must use the boot card to avoid Pokey's attacks. Once Pokey falls over trying to attack Mario, Mario can then drive the boot card into the segments of the body to destroy them. Mummy Pokey. Mummy Pokey is a boss in World 2 of New Super Mario Bros. It is a large mummified Pokey with red spikes and a strange mouth. He attacks by spitting silver round projectiles. He will also go underground and try and pop out to hit Mario. When he does, he will not come out full length, allowing Mario to easily jump on his head. It takes 3 total jumps to defeat him. King Caracas IV. King Caracas IV is the king of the Flora Sapiens and a boss in Super Paper Mario. The king is a very queer-coded character, talking very flamboyantly and wearing makeup. So, slay, king. The fight is fought in 2 total phases. During the first one, you must pick small flowers and throw them at the face to hurt him. In the second phase, he is just a floating head that will shoot projectiles at Mario. Mario must catch these and throw these back to hurt him. Spoiled Rotten. Spoiled Rotten is the first boss of Wario Land 4. It is a large young eggplant carrying a doll. Being the first boss, it is rather simple. You must use your charge attack 8 times total to defeat it. Fawful. Fawful, aka Lord Fawful, is a boss in Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. He is both the second boss in the game and the second to last boss in the game. His first fight serves as more of a tutorial than anything else. Dark Fawful. Dark Fawful is Fawful after he absorbs a Dark Star in Bowser's Inside Story. This fight is fought by Bowser. In the fight, Bowser can vacuum up the machine that Fawful uses to fly, and inside the body, the bros can defeat it. Crackletta. Crackletta is a boss and the main antagonist of Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. She has fought 2 total times throughout the game. The more important fight of the 2 is the second, where she is fought inside of Boletta. This is the final boss of the game. In this form, Crackletta is made out of 4 parts: the head, 2 hands, and the body with a heart. The Mario Brothers must destroy all the other parts in order to attack the heart and defeat her. Shroobs. Shroobs are a basic enemy from the Mario & Luigi series. In both Mario & Luigi Partners in Time and Bowser's Inside Story, they do have boss fights. These boss fights are really nothing special, they're just basic fights against a couple of Shroobs. Shrooboid Brat. Shrooboid Brat is a large blue shroom boss with a lollipop. He is seen in Mario & Luigi Partners in Time. He can attack by either throwing his lollipop or spitting things at the brothers like fire or mushrooms. Junior Shroob. Junior Shroob is the tutorial boss of Mario & Luigi Partners in Time. During this fight, Toadsworth will teach the brothers how battling works. Elder Shroob. Elder Shroob is a large red Shroob boss. He has spikes on his head and cannot be jumped on. The fight is fought in 2 phases. In the first one, he is small, and in the second one, he is larger and has higher stats. Commander Shroob. Commander Shroob is a pink Shroob with a great mustache and a normal whistle. He will stay off the field as much as possible. He will do this by calling in support Shroobs to attack for him. The support Shroobs will hold the Shroob bomb on the front lines. The brothers must defeat the Shroobs to send the bomb rolling back into Captain Shroob, which will knock him onto the battlefield where he can be attacked. Princess Shroob. Princess Shroob, who is thought to be the leader of the Shroobs, is one of the main antagonists of Mario & Luigi Partners in Time. She sits in a floating throne that can shoot lasers to attack. She is also surrounded by a shield that must be broken before you can hurt her. Once the shield is broken, you can both hurt her and her chair will be disabled. Elder Princess Shroob. Elder Princess Shroob is the true leader of the Shroobs and the older sister of Princess Shroob. Her boss fight is fought in 2 phases. To defeat her, the brothers must destroy her crown on top of her head. Alright, let's do one really short category before we get into one of the longer categories. This is Shy Guys. Leading off the Shy Guy bosses, we have General Guy. General Guy is the boss of Chapter 4 in Paper Mario. Before fighting General Guy, he will summon Shy Squad, 2 Stoke Guys, and 2 Shy Stacks to fight first. During the fight, General Guy will attack by throwing bombs at the brothers. The light on top of his tank-like vehicle will also do a lightning attack. Anti-Guy. Anti-Guy is an extremely powerful black Shy Guy found in Paper Mario. There are 2 mini-boss fights where you can face Anti-Guys. The first one is guarding a chest and won't let Mario Mario have the chest unless he defeats him. Or you can do the other option and bribe him with a lemon candy. The second possible encounter with these guys is in Bowser's Castle during the quiz game. If Mario gets 3 answers wrong, he will have to face 3 anti-guys. Black Shy Guy. Black Shy Guy is a boss that speaks in haikus in Paper Mario Color Splash. He comes in a large stack. The Shy Bandit. The Shy Bandit is a mini boss in Paper Mario Color Splash as well. Before he starts fights, he will throw markers to drain color from areas that Mario has been to. Mario must then go to those areas and face him. If he defeats him, he will get 300 coins. If Mario loses, he will start draining the color from the area even more. Big Guy the Stilted. Big Guy the Stilted is a giant robot Shy Guy on stilts. It serves as the boss for World 4 in Yoshi's Island DS. During the fight, Yoshi must use eggs or use Baby Bowser's Fire Breath to knock the boss back into the lava. Once he's in the lava, you can ground pound on his head to hurt him. Do this 3 times to defeat him. Sniffberg the Unfeeling. Sniffberg the Unfeeling is an ice sniffer that is made large by Kamek. Its main attack is making snow blocks and then kicking them at Yoshi. Similar to the Big Guy the Stilted fight, Yoshi must use eggs to knock it off the edge and then ground pound on it to do damage. 3 total ground pounds defeats it. It's now time for that longer category I just mentioned. This is Ghost. Now, a vast majority of Ghost bosses come from the Luigi's Mansion series, and almost all of them are defeated by vacuuming them up. So I only mention the unique parts of each fight. Neville the Bookish Father. Neville is from the original Luigi's Mansion. He is found in the study reading books and attacks by throwing books. Luigi must wait for Neville to yawn in order to stun him. Spooky the Hungry Guard Dog. Spooky is found outside in his doghouse. To defeat him, Luigi must first defeat a Mr. Bones enemy, which will leave a bone in the ground to distract him. Mr. Lugs the Glutton. Mr. Lugs is an optional boss that sits at a table eating food non-stop. In order to defeat him, Luigi must first light the candles on that table and then remove all the food while stopping the waiters from serving more food. Once the food is gone, Lugs will start belching fireballs at Luigi. After a while, he will tire himself out, allowing him to be defeated. Vincent Van Gogh the Starving Artist. This is a painter ghost who has painted a picture of many ghosts. One by one, he will release them from his paintings to attack Luigi. Once all have been defeated, Vincent Van Gogh will attack himself. Sir Weston the Chilly Climber. This is a ghost frozen inside of a block of ice. Luigi must defrost him with fire. As you might suspect by his name, he attacks with ice attacks. Jarvis the Jar Collector. This is yet another optional boss. Luigi must first engage with him in a game of whack-a-mole while Jarvis will pop out of vases and Luigi must freeze him. After he is frozen a few times, he will get angry and start throwing pots at Luigi. Henry and Orville, the twin brothers. These two are summoned when Luigi spins the mobile in their room. They will challenge Luigi to a game of hide and seek. Once Luigi wins, they will get on their toy plane and toy car and ride around dropping bombs. Melody Pianisma, the beautiful pianist. In order to get her to spawn, Luigi must get all the instruments in her room to start playing music. Once they're all playing music, she will hop on the piano and start playing it. Luigi can then talk to her, prompting her to play an old Mario song, such as the athletic theme from Super Mario Bros. 3 or the underwater theme from Super Mario Bros. 1. She will quiz Luigi on which one it is, and if he gets it correct, it will start the actual fight. In the fight, she will attack by throwing sheet music at Luigi. Bogmire the Cemetery Shadow. This is a purple ghost, and that's pretty much all he is. He sends his shadow forms to attack Luigi. Luigi must defeat the shadows and turn them into balls that he can then shoot back at Bogmire, exposing his heart so he can be defeated. Lydia, the Mere-Gazing Mother. In order to stun her and defeat her, Luigi must first open the curtain in her room, revealing a broken window that will let in the breeze and allow her to be defeated. Madame Clairvoya, the Freaky Fortune Teller. Luigi must bring her 5 items in the game: Mario's hat, Mario's glove, Mario's shoe, Mario's letter, and Mario's star. For each item that Luigi brings her, she will provide a reading. Once all 5 items are given to her, she will willingly let herself be defeated. Soupy, the Dozing Girl. To defeat her, Luigi must spray her with water, convincing her that she peed the bed, which is extremely mean, but I guess she's a ghost, so it's okay. Shivers, the Wandering Butler. As his name implies, Shivers will wander around the hallway with a candlestick. Luigi must use the fire to light the candlestick, causing Shivers to flee to his room, where he can be defeated. The Floating Whirlindas, the Dancing Couple. This is a couple that will continually dance around a room. Luigi must wait for them to stop and pose in order to stun them. Miss Petunia, the Bathing Beauty. In order to defeat her, Luigi must use the ice to cool down her water, making her bath extremely cold and letting her be captured. Nana, the Scarf Knitting Granny. Nana will float around the room in her rocking chair. She attacks by shooting lasers from her eyes, which is honestly pretty awesome. To stun her, Luigi must grab the arm balls and shoot them at her. Clockwork Soldiers, the Toy Platoon. These are 3 ghost toy soldiers. The 3 ghosts will stand at attention, not moving until the clocks are activated in the room. Once activated, they will attack Luigi with their toy guns. Luigi must unwind the keys from their backs in order to defeat them. Biff Atlas, the Bodybuilder. Biff is an optional boss in Luigi's Mansion. The ghost will simply walk around the room and work out. In order to engage in battle with him, Luigi must hit him with a punching bag. Luigi must hit him 3 times with the punching sleeping bag to stun him. But I'm not counting this as a 3-hit boss, as you must still vacuum him up after that. Slim Bank Shot, the Lonely Pool Shark. This is yet another optional ghost boss in Luigi's Mansion. He floats around the pool table that has 3 balls in it. When he hits the balls, they will fly around the room and Luigi can grab them and throw them back at him. Hitting him with 3 balls will stun him, allowing him to be defeated. Chauncey the Spoiled Baby. Chauncey the Spoiled Baby is an extremely unique fight in Luigi's Mansion. Chauncey will teleport you into a giant crib to start the fight. He attacks with flying rocking horses and throwing balls. Luigi can grab the balls and throw them back at Chauncey to stun him, allowing him to try and capture him. Uncle Grimly, Hermit of the Darkness. He is found in the wardrobe and will try and jump out and scare Luigi. When he is defeated, he will drop a key to the break room. Poltergeist. Poltergeist is the first mini-boss in Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Luigi must defeat 3 total poltergeists in this battle. They will attack by using their mind to throw books at Luigi. Ancient Poltergeist. This is a stronger variation of the poltergeist that throws bricks instead of books. In this battle, there is only one ancient poltergeist. Strong Poltergeist. This is the strongest of the poltergeist bosses. This fight takes place in outer space after Luigi uses a telescope. The boss will travel around the arena throwing stars to attack. He also has the ability to summon bombs from the craters in the moon. The Brain. The Brain is the final boss in the co-op Scarecraper mode of Luigi's Mansion 2. He attacks very similarly to the poltergeist, but has a lot more HP. In the battle, he will also summon common enemies like Greenies and Slammers to help him. Strong Greenie, Strong Slammer, and Strong Gobber. These are stronger versions of 3 basic enemies in Luigi's Mansion 2. The first encounter with each of them serves as a boss fight. Grouchy Possessor. Grouchy Professor is the first major boss of Luigi's Mansion 2. During the fight, the ghost will possess a spider. To hurt the ghost, Luigi must set the web on fire. Setting the web on fire is more of a puzzle than an actual boss fight. Harsh Possessor. Harsh Professor is the second major boss of Luigi's Mansion 2. This one possesses a staircase in the fight, which is a weird thing to possess when you want to attack somebody. The staircase will attack by lunging at Luigi. The staircase also has a jump attack, and once it lands, it is vulnerable to Luigi. Overset Possessor. This is the third major boss that controls a clock during the boss fight. Throughout the fight, it will spin the hands and change the hour. At each hour, it will summon different ghosts that Luigi must fight. Shrewd Possessor. This boss will possess a large piece of ice. In the fight, Luigi pilots the sled mounter. He must use it to shoot the ghost in the face. Tough Possessor. Tough Professor is the last Professor boss in Luigi's Mansion 2. In the fight, it possesses many suits of armor. In the first phase, it possesses 2. In the second, it possesses 3. And in the final one, it possesses a giant suit of armor. The 3 Sisters. The 3 Sisters are a mini-boss in Luigi's Mansion 2. They will hold mirrors in front of their faces to protect them from being stunned by Luigi's flashlight. Luigi must wait for them to lower their mirrors in order to stun them. While trying to suck up one of the sisters, the other 2 will try and hit him to stop him. Steward. Steward is the first boss of Luigi's Mansion 3. He is a pretty simple boss, only having one attack of throwing suitcases. Chambria. Chambria is the second boss of Luigi's Mansion 3. She is a maid that is cleaning the hotel. She is immune to normal attacks, so Luigi must use the suction shot in order to get the briefcase out of her. Crawler. Crawler is a mall cop with a water gun. The ghost hides behind a caged door, so he can only be fought with Gooigi. In the fight, Gooigi must pull the sunglasses off of his face in order to stun him. Chef Soufflé. This is a chef ghost that attacks by spinning with a frying pan. Luigi must throw pumpkins and watermelons at him in order to have him drop his pan, then he can stun him. Amadeus Wolfgeist. This is a composer ghost that starts the fight by playing a piano. He will then magically pick up all the seats in the theater and try and throw them at Luigi. Once all the chairs are gone, he will get annoyed, but keep playing the piano. This time he will summon Goobs and ballerina tutus to fight. After the Goobs are defeated, he will possess the piano. This is his final gambit. Luigi must grab and throw bombs into the piano to hurt him. King McFrights. King McFrights is the ghost inside of a jousting robot. He has 2 phases. The first one is inside of the machine, and Luigi must wait for him to charge after him, and right before he strikes, stun him. In the second part, the ghost will have a shield. He will attack by doing a spin attack, which will cause him to drop the shield, allowing Luigi to hit him. Dr. Potter. Dr. Potter is a farmer ghost from Luigi's Mansion 3. He attacks by using his fly traps. Luigi must wait for the fly trap to try and attack him, dodge the attack, and then use a chainsaw to cut it off. After you cut the stem, you can attack Dr. Potter. Kaiju Goob. Kaiju Goob is a goob in a kaiju costume in Luigi's Mansion. Luigi must face him in Morty's movie. In order to defeat him, Luigi must wait for the kaiju to shoot a giant projectile, which Luigi can push back using the poltergeist. Morty. Morty is the director of the movie with the kaiju goob. Once you help him make the movie, he will freely give you the button. But Luigi is such a jerk, he can go and vacuum him up anyway. This is still considered a boss, even though he is not fought in any meaningful way. Polterkitty. Polterkitty is a cat fought 3 times in Luigi's Mansion. The main mechanic of her fights is letting her sneak up behind Luigi and then quickly turning around to shine the flashlight in her face. Ugg. Ugg is a caveman ghost from Luigi's Mansion 3. To start the fight, he is possessing a T-Rex skeleton. Once the T-Rex is defeated, he must face off with Ugg in his regular ghost form. In his ghost form, he attacks with a giant bone that he uses as a club. Glem. Glem is a redneck mechanic boss in Luigi's Mansion 3. He is fought in the pool of water with spikes in the side. In the fight, Luigi is in his rubber ducky floaty, and Clem is in his rubber swan floaty. Luigi must push the swan into the spikes in the side, which will pop it and allow Luigi to hurt him. Serpsy. Serpsy is an Egyptian pharaoh Ghost. In the fight, she will use sand to surround herself both for protection and to attack. She will also encase herself completely in sand, which Luigi must pull off so that he can get to her and stun her. Nikki, Lindsay, and Ginny. This is a trio of magician ghosts that has fought in Luigi's Mansion 3. In the fight, they will hide in their hats and throw cards to attack Luigi. Luigi must wait for the hats to get close and then use a burst to stun them. Captain Fishhook. Captain Fishhook is a pirate ghost with an eye patch and a hook hand, or hook fin. In the fight, Fishhook will possess the boat that they are on. Luigi must grab explosive barrels during the fight and shoot them into the mouth of the ship. Johnny Deepend. Johnny Deepend is a swimming ghost that throws water polo balls at Luigi. Luigi must grab the water polo balls and throw them back at him. While he is stunned, Luigi must drain the pool. Once the pool is drained, he is vulnerable to attacks. DJ Phantasmagoria. As her name would imply, she is a DJ. The fight starts with a group of dancing goobs who have an elevator button. Luigi must track down the one that has the button and defeat him. Once he gets the button, this will start the actual fight. During the fight, she will use records to attack Luigi. Luigi must use the burst attack to knock off her afro wig. After her wig is knocked off, this is when she can be stunned. Helen Gravely. Helen Gravely is the owner of the Last Resort Hotel, which is the setting for Luigi's Mansion 3. She is one of the end bosses of the game. During the fight, she will bring up a machine that will block off Luigi. Luigi must then go underground in the vent to turn off the energy wall, so that Luigi can get to Helen. After the fight, Mario is freed and leads Luigi to the roof, where the true final boss fight takes place with King Boo. King Boo is a recurring character in the Mario franchise. He serves as the boss in every single Luigi's Mansion game, with the original Luigi's Mansion actually being his first game. In this very first fight, he actually disguises himself as a giant Bowser. King Boo is also seen as a boss in Super Mario 64 remake for the DS. Overall, King Boo has been in 14 different games as a boss. Big Lantern Ghost. Big Lantern Ghost is the boss in the original Paper Mario. As his name implies, he is a large Lantern Ghost enemy from the Yoshi's Island series. This fight takes place in the dark. Mario must attack the lantern to make it brighter so that he can attack the Big Lantern Ghost. After the Big Lantern Ghost is defeated, Mario finds that inside his lantern was Watt, a young little Sparky that joins his team. Phantom Knight. Phantom Knight is a boss in Princess Peach Showtime. Peach is in her sword fighter form and must jump on her head to stun her and then hit her with the sword. Vivian, Marilyn, and Beldum. These three are a group known as the Three Shadows, or as they were originally known, the Shadow Sirens. All three are fought as a boss in Chapter 2. Overall, they are fairly simple bosses. The most interesting things about these three is that they are all sisters, and Vivian is actually trans, which is something they actually removed from the original game trying to maintain an E rating. Vivian also later in the game becomes a partner of Mario. Germano. Germano is a ghost pirate boss in Wario Land 3. His boss fight has a lantern in each corner of the room. To start the fight, a skull will cover each of the lanterns. Wario must quickly knock off all of the skulls from the lanterns in order to win the fight. If Wario isn't quick enough, the skulls will respawn. Golden Diva. Now, I'm not really sure if this is a ghost, but she has a very ghost-like look. She is the final boss of Wario Land 4. She is fought in 3 total phases. Phase 1, she has a floating mask that floats around her and a fan that covers her face. Wario must stun the mask and throw them back at her in order to break the fan. In the second phase, she will drop things like green enemy, a hammer, a ball, and an egg. All things that Wario can pick up and throw back at her to hurt her. In the third phase, she will try and drop down on Wario like a thwomp. It will actually break the ground, revealing spikes below. 3 shoulder charges beats her in this phase. There's also sort of a 4th phase, but it's just her lips and is beat in a single shot. Aerodent. Aeronaut is a ghost mouse and the 4th boss in Wario Land 4. He has an inflatable teddy bear that he uses to float above Wario. During the fight, pin enemies will drop down and Wario must stun them and throw them at the bear to deflate him. Once the bear is deflated, Wario can then charge the mouse to hurt him. Ghost. Simply, Ghost is a boss in Wario Land. He has a coin purse and loves coins. He is immune to most normal attacks. Wario must wait for him to throw out the enemy, Yari Kuriobake, and then stun them and throw them back to do damage. It takes 3 total hits to beat this boss. Ghost. This one's from Wario Land 2. This ghost hangs from the ceiling and drops down to attack Wario. When he drops down, Wario must shoulder charge him 4 times to defeat him. Shadow Queen. Shadow Queen is the final boss of Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. Her fight has 2 phases. In the first phase of the fight, she is possessing Princess Peach. Once this form is dealt to Knife's damage, she will take her true form and is invulnerable at first. After a long cutscene, she will become vulnerable to attacks. As she is the final boss of the game, she is extremely tough. Inviso. Inviso is a ghost boss in Yoshi's Story. He is completely invisible but reflects in the background and can be seen that way. During the fight, he releases peepers that Yoshi must eat to throw eggs to hit him. Inviso takes 3 total eggs to defeat. Papercraft King Boo. We talked about King Boo earlier, but this is his Papercraft form. This fight is fought with Papercraft Yoshi. Mizia Boo. Mizia Boo is a ghost in a beret and the 7th boss in the SNES version of Wario's Woods. Though his name is Monsieur Boo, it is unclear if he's related to the actual Boo species, Big Boo. Big Boo is seen in 6 total games of the boss. It first appeared in Super Mario World. A really interesting fact about this boss is that in its original fight, it actually had no hitbox, meaning Mario could just jump into it and not get hurt. The only way to get hurt in this battle was from 2 standard sized Boos that were also in the fight. In his original fight, he was defeated by being hit by 3 throw blocks. The only other mainline game that Big Boo serves as a boss in is Mario 64, where in the level Big Boo's Haunt, you must defeat Big Boos for 3 different stars. Oh, speaking of bigger Boos, we have Bigger Boo. Bigger Boo, much like many of the bosses in Yoshi's Island, is a Boo made larger by Kamek. When this Boo is hit with eggs, it will actually get larger. Yoshi must continually hit it with eggs until it explodes. Boolossus. Boolossus is a large group of Boos that combines into a giant Boo. They serve as a boss in both Luigi's Mansion 1 and 3. In both fights, the Boolossus must be broken apart into its smaller Boos. When they are smaller, this is when they can be defeated. Cortez. Cortez is the holder of the 5th Crystal Star and a boss fight in Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. In the battle, Cortez has 3 phases. The first one is a massive skeleton with 4 arms. The second phase is a weird skeleton snake, and the third phase is just the skull controlling floating weapons. After he is defeated, it is revealed that he wasn't actually beat. Mario then goes on to explain that all he wants is the Crystal Star and none of the rest of his treasures. Cortez laughs and willingly gives him the star as he thinks it is worthless. Dupless. Dupless is a Duplighost, an enemy originally from Paper Mario. He is a boss fought 3 times in Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. His first fight is extremely easy, but after the fight he steals Mario's form and leaves Mario as a shadow. To fight him again, Mario must know his real name. But even if you know his true name is Dupless, the first time you meet him you won't be able to type it in, as you need to find the keyboard letter P that he has somehow taken. As Dupless is disguised as Mario, he has all of Mario's partners. The only partner that Mario will have to fight Dupless is Vivian. The third time that Dupless returns, he is fighting alongside the sisters Marilyn and Beldum. Roger the Potted Ghost. Roger the Potted Ghost is a boss in Yoshi's Island. He is a potted plant that is brought to life by Kamek. In the fight, Yoshi must push Roger the Potted Ghost off the edge while 2 Shy Guys push against you. Roger attacks by knocking Yoshi back with his head, letting the 2 Shy Guys push. He also has the ability to spit fire at Yoshi. He is defeated once he is pushed completely off the edge. Hector the Reflector. Hector the Reflector is a ghost made invisible by Kamek in Yoshi's Island DS. The only way to see him is in the reflection of the mirror. During the fight, he will summon Invisighosts that will carry objects at Yoshi, like chairs and potted flower plants, to hurt him. Hector takes 5 total hits to defeat. After being hit with an egg, Hector will shrink, making him harder to hit each time. Smoldergeist. Smoldergeists are ghost-like bosses in Mario & Luigi Dream Team. In their boss fight, you must face off against 4 of them. This is actually a tutorial fight that teaches the player how to use badges. Alright, we're finally done with that chunky category, so we can finally move on from ghosts to inanimate objects. Led off by King Babam. King Babam is a recurring boss in the Mario series, being a boss in 7 different games. He makes his initial appearance in Super Mario 64, where he is intended to be the very first star that Mario gets. He is defeated by picking him up and throwing him 3 times. After this game, King Babam has not returned in any main series game, but has been in many Mario spin-offs, including the Mario Party series, the Mario Luigi series, and Mario Kart series. Proto-Mecha King Babam. This is a robot prototype of King Babam. It attacks by throwing bombs and summoning Babams to aid him. He also is surrounded by a shield that must be deactivated in order to harm him. Mecha King Babam. This is the actual robot King Babam. He is much stronger than his prototype version, but he will summon more Babams and uses a launcher to launch Babams. Brawl Doll. Brawl Doll is a boss in Wario World. It is a weird baby doll with wings. It flies around the arena and must be knocked down and then punched. Exor. Exor is a large sword that has taken over Bowser's castle after falling from the sky. In order to hurt Exor in his boss battle, you must first disable one of his eyes. This boss actually has a very well-known insta-kill that Geno can perform by using his Geno Whirl ability, Big Mr. Eye. Big Mr. Eye is exactly what his name says, a bigger version of the enemy Mr. Eye. He is only seen in Mario 64 and is seen in a secret room in Big Boo's Haunt. Much like normal Mr. Eyes, he is defeated by running around him in a circle. Clay Morton. Clay Morton, who was originally known as Mac, is a boss in Super Mario RPG. He is the first major boss of the entire game. In his boss battle, Clay Morton is accompanied by his minions named Bodyguards. Defeating Clay Morton rewards Mario with the first of the 7 stars in the game, Super Peach's Castle of Fury. Super Peach's Castle of Fury is a boss fought by Giant Bowser in Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. This is one of the many large Bowser gimmick fights that requires you to turn your 3DS sideways. Sunnyside. Sunnyside is a strange egg boss from Mario & Luigi Partners in Time. time. Sunny's weak spot is the inside of his mouth, which he will keep closed while he's standing up. The main mechanic of this fight is that Sunnyside will have 5 eggs in front of him. He will pick them up and throw them at the brothers. However, if the brothers defeat the eggs, they will hatch into Yoshis, which will try and push a Chomp Rock off a cliff to hurt Sunnyside. When Sunnyside is hit with the Chomp Rocks, he'll be knocked over and expose his weakness. Shelly. Shelly is a large pink spotted egg fought by Mario and his team in Super Mario RPG. The egg hatches into Birdo, but this is listed as a separate boss. But you could argue it's just Birdo. Top Man. Top Man is the second boss in Wario Blast featuring Bomberman. He shoots boomerangs as an attack. Tower of Yik. Tower of Yik is yet another oversized boss fought by Giant Bowser in Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. In this fight, Bowser must punch the tower until it falls into the water and then continue punching it to do damage. Colored pencils, the Missile Maestro, aka Jean-Pierre Colored Pencils the 12th. This is the first legendary stationary boss in Paper Mario the Origami King. All of the legendary bosses are living 3D office supplies. In this fight, Jean-Pierre will attack by launching colored pencils like missiles and clamping down his case to bite. To hurt it, Mario must get behind the case and close it while the missiles are inside, making them explode and stunning him. To finish him off, Mario grabs all of the pencils and violently slams them into the case repeatedly. Rubber Band, the Elastic Entertainer. This is another legendary stationary boss. His starting form is a humanoid made out of many rubber bands, but he is actually only a single rubber band. Mario must knock off all the other rubber bands until he is just one. Mario's final move against this one is to grab him, smash him against the ground, and then fling him into the wall. Hole Punch, the Disco Devil. Before this fight, Mario will have a dance party with a bunch of toads who have had their faces hole punched out, which is absolutely terrifying. The Hole Punch will attack by hole punching holes in Mario, which will reduce his maximum HP. To end the fight, Mario rips the bottom off of the hole punch, releasing all the paper that it had punched, and restoring all the faces of the toads. Tape, the Shifty Sticker. This boss is tape inside of a tape dispenser. The first thing Mario must do in the fight is destroy the tape dispenser itself. To defeat the tape, Mario will grab the tape and take all of it off of the roll. Scissors, the Dual-Bladed Duelist. As you might guess, this is simply a pair of scissors. In battle, it can cut spots off of the board, making it harder for Mario to deal damage. The scissors also have a move called Final Cut. When it is used, Mario must avoid the attack and jump over it. If he does not, he will be cut in half and be instantly defeated. Stapler, the Fanged Fastener. This is the last of the office supply bosses in Paper Mario the Origami King. The Stapler acts like a dog rather than being a speaking character like the rest of the office supplies. The Stapler has the ability to use its staples to pin down Mario and make him lose a turn. Mario's final attack on this boss is grabbing it and snapping it back, breaking it. Giant Paper Plane. This is yet another boss from Paper Mario the Origami King that is faced in an air battle. Mario mans the cannon on an airship and must shoot small planes before they hit his ship. He must also shoot the giant paper plane to damage it. Black Jewel. Black Jewel is the final boss of Wario World. Wario must run around the arena, releasing spritlings that will stun the boss, then he can use the special moves on it. Huff and Puff. Huff and Puff is a boss in the 6th chapter of Paper Mario. When he's attacked, he will break into smaller Tough Puff enemies. Mario must then defeat the Tough Puff enemies quickly, because if he doesn't, Huff and Puff will inhale them and regain his health. Biokenton. This is a cloud boss fought in Super Mario Land, where Mario is flying a plane to defeat it. The boss attacks by using chicken projectiles. He is defeated once Mario hits him with 20 missiles. Cloud and Candy. Cloud and Candy is a boss in Yoshi's Story that is defeated by being eaten. As Yoshi eats the boss, he will shrink. The only attack that this boss has is jumping around the stage. Cake. Cake is a cake boss that was baked by Chef Tort and his apprentice. The cake is broken into 2 parts. The top half is named Bunt, and the bottom half is named Raspberry. Bunt has 5 candles on his head that must all be taken out by physical attacks. One physical attack puts out 1 candle. Once all of his candles are put out, then he can be attacked for damage. The bottom half is more of a standard fight, but when the cake gets low on health, Booster will eat it to end the fight. Tubba's Heart. Tubba's Heart is the heart of Tubba Blubba. It is his one true weakness. The heart is removed from Tubba Blubba in order to make him invincible. Most of the chapter is spent finding the heart to defeat Tubba Blubba. Terrible Portrait. Terrible Portrait is a mini-boss in Wario World that shows up 2 times. The boss is made up of 3 paintings. One is the face and the other 2 have hands coming out. Bowser's Castle. Bowser's Castle is the lair of the iconic Bowser. Usually it is not alive, but in Bowser's Inside Story, it is one of the giant bosses that Giant Bowser fights. The castle has many attacks, including summoning Shy Tubs, Spinies, and doing a flying attack, which castles are known to do. Brook Monsieur. This is the block boss in Bowser's Inside Story. This is actually a tutorial boss that teaches you how to use the vacuum move that will swallow enemies and allow them to be attacked by the brothers inside. Broggy. Broggy is a large block dog boss. In the fight, he is a fairly simple boss, only having 2 attacks, a jump and a straight charge at Bowser. Dollboy. Dollboy is the first boss in Wario Land 3. He will sit on top of 3 barrels and attack Wario with hammers. Master Hand. Master Hand is a character unique to the Super Smash Bros. Series. In the original game, he serves the boss for every character's classic mode. He returns in in every single Smash game as a boss as well. He is always defeated by depleting his HP to 0. Crazy Hand. Crazy Hand is the left-handed counterpart to Master Hand in the Super Smash Bros. Series. He is introduced in the second game of the series, Super Smash Bros. Melee, and is defeated the exact same as Master Hand. Handaconda. Handaconda is a boss made by the scissors in Paper Mario the Origami King. Before the fight begins, he kidnaps Mario's partner, Olivia. Mario must continually deal damage to Handaconda in order to get him to release Olivia. Once Olivia is free, the fight turns into a literal game of rock, paper, scissors. Fawful Express and Fawful Mountain. Fawful Express and Fawful Mountain are two bosses fought together as the third major boss fight for Giant Bowser in Mario & Luigi's Bowser's Inside Story. The train can attack by summoning Goombas, an enemy that due to an editing error was left out of my Mario's Enemy video. But don't worry, the comments let me know. About halfway through the fight, the mountain joins in, and it attacks by either charging at Bowser or summoning clouds which will cause rain and put out the fire from Bowser's attacks. Gator Train. Gator Train is a boss in Yoshi's Crafted World. Yoshi rides in a different train on a parallel track to the Gator Train. Shy Guys on the Gator Train will pop up and try and throw spike balls at Yoshi. Some Shy Guys will also hop from the Gator Train onto Yoshi's train where Yoshi can eat them. The Gator Train attacks itself by trying to bite Yoshi. When he opens his mouth, he exposes his weakness, allowing Yoshi to throw an egg at the engine. 3 eggs to the engine defeats this boss. Boomsday Machine. Boomsday Machine is a bunker that Bowser Jr. uses to fight Mario. The tower has firebars that spin around, cannons that shoot electric shots, and fans that pull Mario towards it. To hurt the bunker, Mario must use the Cloud power-up to get high enough to get onto the glass and then ground pound it. After 2 hits, it will come even higher, revealing that it has treads. A 3rd hit to the dome on top will defeat it. Mount Pajamaja. This is a giant volcano boss fought by Giant Luigi in Mario & Luigi Dream Team. As you would suspect, most of a volcano's attacks are launching molten rock. There's also Mount Pajamaja X, which is the stronger version. Earthquake. Earthquake is a boss made out of buildings fought by Giant Luigi in Mario & Luigi Dream Team. The boss can break off its parts in order to attack Luigi. Earthquake X is a stronger version of this boss. Thundercloud. Thundercloud is a weird creature that flies around in a cloud and is the 5th boss of Wario Blast featuring Bomberman. It flies around the stage protected by the lightning around it and attacks by throwing that lightning. When it throws the lightning, this is when it becomes vulnerable to attacks. Awabo. Awabo is a weird bubble boss from Wario Land 2. He floats around the screen and bounces off walls. After the 1st and 2nd hit, he will create clones of himself that will bounce around the room as well. After the 3rd hit, which defeats him, he will expel all of the air from his body until he dies. Bill Blaster. Bill Blasters are cannons that shoot bullet bills. They are seen in very many Mario games, but are rarely ever bosses. The only game where they actually serve as a boss is Paper Mario, where there's a forced encounter in the Koopa Bros castle. Big Bullet Bill. Big Bullet Bill shows up as a boss that you must race against in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. It is raced in the sport of skeleton, which I had actually never heard of until this video, but is basically really intense face-first sledding. Top Maniac. Top Maniac is a robot top boss in Mario Galaxy 1. To hurt the top, Mario must first jump on top of it. Wish will retract the spikes and allow Mario to hit him into the electric field around the level. Top Maniac is fought 4 times throughout the game and takes 3 hits to the feet each time. Spiky Topman. Spiky Topman is a standard enemy in the Mario Galaxy games, but he serves the boss in Mario Kart Wii. In the fight, you must use the mushroom power-up to charge at the tops and knock them off the edge. Giant Mr. Blizzard. Giant Mr. Blizzard is a boss in Mario Party Island Tour. He is faced in the minigame Mr. Blizzard's Snow Slalom. In the game, you roll down a hill making a snowball. You must grab coins to make the snowball bigger, and then hit a ramp to deal damage to Mr. Blizzard. The amount of damage you do is based on the size of the snowball. Mr. Blizzard. Mr. Blizzard is a snowman boss in Paper Mario Sticker Star. At the start of the fight, he is encased inside a giant ice statue of Bowser covered in snow. As it is made of ice, the statue is weak to fire. Once the giant statue is completely melted, it will just be Mr. Blizzard, and he can easily be defeated in his snowman form. Snow King. Snow King is the final boss of Mario Golf Super Rush. He is surrounded by a shield that can be taken down by hitting the 3 crystals around the level with bob-ombs. Obviously, as this is a golf game, you must hit the bob-ombs with your club. Once his shield is down, you can directly hit bob-ombs at Snow King to deal damage. Steak. Steak is a live-action steak that is a boss in Paper Mario Color Splash. To defeat it, Mario must tenderize the steak with a hammer, then season it with salt and pepper, and finally cook it on the charcoal grill. The final thing you do to it is top it off with lemon. Madame Mirage. Madame Mirage is a mirror that serves the boss in Mario Tennis Aces. In the fight, Mario must volley back and forth with the mirror. Instead of hitting the ball back like normal, Madame Mirage uses 2 mirrors, one to absorb the ball and the other to throw it back. Each time Mario hits the ball towards her, it will do a little bit of damage. Alright, that's all the inanimate objects. Now we're moving into the final category. To wrap it all up, we have Miscellaneous. And leading off Miscellaneous, we have Cup King. Cup King is a weird animal with a snout and a cup of tea. It is the very first boss in Wario Blast featuring Bomberman. Belome. Belome is a rather strange creature fought a few times in Mario RPG. He is a fuzzy monster with a long tongue. His signature ability is eating one of Mario's party members and making a clone of them. Fire Snake. Fire Snake is an enemy that first appeared in Super Mario Bros. 3. It is only featured as a boss in one game, and that is Yoshi's Safari. The Fire Snake is blue and moves quickly around the screen as you must shoot it to damage it. Fry Guy. Fry Guy is basically just a giant fireball. He will fly around the room and spit fireballs down to attack. Once he is hit 3 times with a mushroom block, he will break into 4 small Fry Guys. Snow Ogre. Snow Ogre is a pair of ice hands with eyes that look very similar to iRock. They are a boss in Mario Tennis Aces. During the fight, you must volley back and forth with the hands. Each time you hit the ball back to them, it will do a little bit of damage. During the volley, one of the hands will actually float in the air and try and crush Mario. Mangilox. Mangilox is the 14th boss of the SNES version of Wario's Woods. He is a large orange fuzzy creature. Gasox. Gasox is an optional boss in Super Mario RPG. When the fight first starts, it will be in its formless form. It must be hit with a magic attack in order to start the actual fight. Once he takes his true form, that is when he can be hit with a physical attack, which he is actually weak to. Marching Mild. Marching Mild is a boss seen in Yoshi's Island. It is immune to eggs and must be ground pounded to hurt it. Ground pounding it breaks it into 2 smaller Marching Milds. Breaking those will break into 2 even smaller ones, and breaking those will break into 4 regular sized Milds. Smorg. Smorg is the boss of Chapter 6 in Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. He is actually the only fight in the entire chapter, as almost all the chapter is spent solving a mystery. Smorgan can only attack by creating arms and pinchers. The arms and pinchers can each be defeated in order to get rid of them, meaning he can't deal damage. The arms will deal 5 damage, while the pinchers will deal 10 damage. Bert the Bashful. Bert the Bashful is a boss that first appeared in Yoshi's Island. He is a Bert made large by Kamek. He is defeated by hitting with eggs, which will slowly remove his pants. Once his pants are completely gone, he will get embarrassed, turn red, and then fly away. He returns in Yoshi's Woolly World, where the fight is very similar, but instead of being weak to eggs, Yoshi must pull the yarn on his pants to make them smaller. Big Burt Bros. Big Burt Bros are a boss in Yoshi's Island DS. They are normal Burt Bros that are enlarged by Kamek. They jump around on each other's heads, very similar to standard Burt Bros. They are defeated by hitting them with eggs, which will make their pants shrink. Burt the Ball. Burt the Ball is a beach ball Burt that is a boss in Yoshi's Crafted World. Burt has many attacks, including bouncing, rolling, and summoning beach birds to hit balls at Yoshi. To hurt him, Yoshi must wait for him to summon Bumpanies, which he can eat and then spit back at him, knocking him back. Once he is knocked into the water, this will reveal his weak spot, which must be ground pounded. 3 hits to the weak spot will destroy his pants and make him red, flying away in embarrassment. Marks. Marks is the boss originally from the Kirby series. It serves the boss in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. He has the ability to teleport quickly around the board. Cretin. Cretin is a molecule boss fought by Mario and Luigi in Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. In the fight, the boss will have parts that are either red or green. If they are red, they can be attacked by Mario, and if they are green, they can be attacked by Luigi. Only one part of the actual molecule is actually the boss. Once that part is defeated, the whole fight is over. Cretin X is a stronger version of this enemy in the boss Gauntlet. Monstar. Monstar is a boss in the original Paper Mario. Despite his menacing appearance, Monstar is actually a very weak boss. After he is defeated, it is revealed that he's actually made out of Star Kids trying to protect the valley, which is very cute. Muddy. Muddy is a boss in Wario Land 3, and I honestly have no clue what this thing is. It is fought on a climbable wall and takes 3 hits to defeat. Darkstar. Darkstar is a boss in Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. He is actually the final boss of the game. In the fight, the Darkstar is invulnerable to damage until you defeat the Dark Satelmites, which are his minions in battle. Darkstar can attack by duplicating himself and then rolling at the brothers, sending out red or green energy balls, or bringing Mario & Luigi's shadows to life. Darkstar X is the harder version of this boss. Devil's Head. Devil's Head is a boss fought in Wario Land. He attacks by sticking out his tongue and spitting rocks. The rocks he spits can be picked up by Wario and thrown back at him to damage him. 3 hits to the dome with rocks will defeat him. Demon Head. Not to be confused with Devil Head, this is Demon Head from Virtual Boy Wario Land. It has large eyes, a large nose, and a large mouth. It has several attacks like spitting fire, dropping its claws, and swiping with its claws. In order to hurt the boss, Wario must jump from the foreground to the background. Gilbert the Gooey. Gilbert the Gooey is a gooey goon made bigger by Kamek in Yoshi's Island DS. He is the boss of the first world in the game. He is a pretty simple boss, only bouncing up and down and slightly swaying side to side. You must remove all the spheres from him to defeat him. The spheres can either be eaten or hit with projectiles like eggs. Giant Spearman. Giant Spearman is a boss in Wario Land 2. As you would suspect, he is a bigger version of a Spearman. He is defeated by 10 ground pounds from above. Torkscrew. Torkscrew is a quite strange boss from Mario & Luigi Dream Team. He is a red reptilian creature with a spinning horn on his head. He can attack by either jumping from above or coming out of the sand to drill at the brothers. Torkscrew X is the harder version of this boss. Cloak and Domino. Cloaker and Domino are a pair of jesters that fight together as a boss in Super Mario RPG. Cloaker is the physical attacker and is weak to magic, and Domino is the inverse. Depending on which one is defeated first, it will summon their pet snakes that they will fuse with in their second phase. They are known as Bad Adder and Mad Adder. Cloaker Snake is Bad Adder, and Mad Adder is Domino's. Fuzzipede. Fuzzipede is a boss in the original Paper Mario. When a whale complains of a bellyache, Mario and Watt must venture inside of the whale in order to find the Fuzzipede that is the source of the bellyache. Watt must be used as a partner for this fight, as it is too dark to be fought with any other partner. Gold Fuzzy. Gold Fuzzy is a boss only seen in Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. It is a fairly early game boss and only has 10 health. But unlike most Fuzzies, it doesn't drain health, making it much easier to defeat. Moltz the Very Goonie. Moltz the Very Goonie is an oversized Hefty Goonie and actually the only Hefty Goonie in Yoshi's Island DS. This fight takes place in a free fall. Moltz cannot be hurt by eggs, but instead must be ground pounded to hurt him. It takes 3 total ground pounds to defeat him. Chakron. Chakron is a boss fought by Mario and Luigi in Mario and Luigi's Bowser's Inside Story. Chakron only wants to fight so that the bros can help him get out of the pose he is stuck in. In the fight, he has max HP, power, defense, and speed. When you first fight him, it's actually impossible to defeat him, but luckily he won't attack you at all either. In order to defeat him, the bros must return later with a new move called Snack Basket, Head Honcho Carpaccio. This is the super-powered form of Carpaccio. In this form, he is no longer human, but a giant snow globe enemy. You will suck Wario inside of him where the boss fight will take place. Wario must run around the inside of him in order to hit switches. Shogun of the Skewers. Shogun of the Skewers is the boss in Yoshi's Crafted World. His boss is more of a puzzle than a standard boss fight. Yoshi must move cardboard boxes around the room in order to create a path to get the Shogun and jump on his head. Once he is ground pounded 3 times, he is defeated. Cursa. Cursa is the main antagonist and the final boss of Mario & Rabbids Spark of Hope. The fight with her is fought in 3 phases. In the first phase, she will attack with her hands and the players must target the hands to destroy them. In the second phase, Cursa will fire beams to attack and can now be attacked directly. In the final phase, Cursa takes a new form that can only be defeated with the aid of Rosalina. Darkin. Darkin is a really strange boss in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. He is some sort of weird monster with an eye. The eye is its weakness and how it can be dealt damage. Galeem. Galeem is also a strange boss from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It is the life form of Darkin. Instead of having an eye, it has a light ball that is its weak spot that can be hit for damage. Six-Face Sail. This is a wheel brought to life by Kamek in Yoshi's Island DS. Yoshi must hit the faces that are large and pink with eggs. Though one would assume because it has 6 faces it would take 6 shots to kill, it surprisingly only takes 4. Ridley. Ridley is a boss originally from the Metroid series. The only Mario game where it is seen as a boss is Super Smash Bros. Brawl, where you can fight in the Subspace Emissary mode. Meta Ridley. Meta Ridley is a cybernetically enhanced version of Ridley that is also a boss in the Subspace Emissary mode of Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Big Bully. Big Bully is a boss that first made his appearance in Super Mario 64. He is fought during 2 different stars in the game, Boil the Big Bully and Bully the Bullies. To defeat the Big Bully, you must knock him into the lava and then you will be rewarded with a star. Big Bully returns to the boss in Mario Kart DS, where it is defeated by ramming it off the stage into water. Prince Bully. Prince Bully is a bully in a suit of armor and a boss in Super Mario 3D World. He is actually the only bully boss that isn't simply beat by knocking him off the edge. Instead, you must knock him into clear pipes, you must turn him into a cylinder and jump on him 3 times to defeat him. Cat Prince Bully. This is the same exact thing, but the Prince Bully has fur and cat ears. Chill Bully. Chill Bully is a boss in Super Mario 64. He is a bully made of ice with a spike on his head. He is defeated by knocking him off of an ice platform into cold water, which never really made sense to me. Isn't the Chill Bully used to cold water? Wouldn't putting him in cold water be good for him? Chief Chili. Chief Chili is a boss that appears in the remake of Super Mario 64. Like every other bully enemy, he is required to be knocked off the edge in order to be defeated. But unlike other bullies, he needs to be knocked off the edge 3 times in order to beat him. Defeating him rewards the key to Wario, allowing you to play as that character. Sorbetti. Sorbetti is a snowman in Super Mario Galaxy 2. His body is the planet that the fight takes place on. His head will roll around the planet trying to hit Mario. Mario can hurt him by using a spin attack on his giant red nose. 3 total spins to the nose defeats him. Chuckulator. Chuckulator is a boss in Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. He starts out with a shield and a sword and is very resistant to jump attacks. So the brothers must use their hammer attacks to destroy his shield. Once his shield is destroyed, his arm is actually revealed to be a gun. He attacks by shooting goo from his gun or by using his sword hand. Baron Burr. Baron Burr is a large ice ball enemy in Super Mario Galaxy 1. In the fight, Mario must get the ice flower while Baron Burr tries to hit him with ice projectiles. Using Ice Mario, you must then climb up to Baron Burr. Once you get up on the top, Mario can use his spin attacks to hurt Baron Burr. He takes 3 total spin attacks to defeat. Plungello. Okay, this is another thing you can yell at me for in the comments. Plungello is a mini boss and not a standard Mario enemy, as I listed it in my original Mario enemies video. But nonetheless, these are large insect-like creatures with plunger-like feet. 6 of them are found at oversized mirrors on Gelato Beach. Mario must stun them on one side of the mirror and then ground pound the other to send them flying. Darkstar Core. Darkstar Core is the final boss of Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. In the fight, the brothers must destroy all of Darkstar Core's appendages to turn him into a puddle. Once he has a puddle, the brothers can defeat him. Helio. Helio, originally known as Yellow Belly, is a boss in Wario Land 3. He carries 2 spears and swoops to attack. Wario can jump on his head, making him spit out a pump. Then Wario can jump on the pump to fill Helio with air. You do this 3 times to defeat him. Salvo the Slime. Salvo the Slime first appeared in Yoshi's Island. He is a slime made large by Kamek. His only attack is jumping around the stage and actually isn't much of a threat to Yoshi. When he is hit with eggs, they will bounce around the room and hit him and make him smaller. The slime is defeated once he is shrunk down too small. Behemoth King. Behemoth King is a boss from Final Fantasy. It is fought in Mario Sports Mix for some ungodly reason. In the fight, you must use your skills from all 4 sports in the game, including basketball, volleyball, dodgeball, and hockey in order to defeat him. Motley Boss Blob. Motley Boss Blob is a jester boss in Super Mario 3D World. In the fight, he is surrounded by a metallic liquid that makes him appear much larger. Eventually in the fight, he will go for a ground pound attack, which will remove the liquid, allowing him to be jumped on. 3 hits defeats him. Master Core. Master Core is a boss only found in Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U and the 3DS. It's a boss that can take many forms such as a giant, a beast, or a fortress. Big Lava Bubble. A large lava bubble appears to the boss in Paper Mario Color Splash. He is accompanied by a shy guy who acts as its translator. The main way of hurting this boss is by using ice attacks. Wacka. Wacka is a character only seen in the first 3 Paper Mario games. He only serves the boss in Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door and only specifically in the remake. The only way to face him is to get all the Wacka bombs from the Wacka, and then defeat the Pit of 100 Trials, wait for an email, and then go back, defeat the Pit of 100 Trials again, and on the 100th floor, Wacka will appear as the final boss. And that's all of them. That is every single Mario boss. Thanks to every single human that made it this far in the video. Honestly, you're a hero. Leave a comment below and let me know what you want me to cover next.